Here we go.
Okay.
It's been a while.
So,
Yeet!
There it is.
There it is.
I wanted to give you false hope.
Yeah, I was kind of waiting.
No, you
There's no
won't.
such thing.
There's no such thing. When you're online, we're expecting it.
Yeah.
I don't care if it takes 10 minutes. It's gonna happen.
you've broken us, just like I've broken you guys when it comes to characters who are like illusory. So,
Well.
I'll do the recap.
You mean
Okay.
Oh,
doppelgangers?
go ahead.
So cool. Yeah. So 2 weeks ago, and on the session of December 1st, the Esyther and Co finally arrive at the Genasi Desert, and the party is immediately introduced to Esther's tribe along with Esther's rather large family. As is customary to Genasi culture, the tribe celebrates Esther's return as Esther's family runs out to meet them. Esther reacquaints herself with her siblings, many of which have grown significantly because of fighting Sagittarius in the desert. And the tribe rejoices as Esther shows them the severed ear of Sagittarius that she kept as a trophy. Esther recounts the tale. Esther regales them in the tale of how she and her friends killed the fuck out of Sagittarius, that little pussy that he was, to quote Esther herself, as the tribe celebrates. The tribe is still hurting from the skirmishes with the aforementioned Zodiac, but and his militia, but they're still smiling, as one of their own has returned. Ashta seems to get a weird kind of vibe coming from Esther's younger sibling, Ash. It doesn't seem to ping off as Ix or Fane, but it is worth investigating further, if possible. Esther is informed of the tribe's death toll, which is 1/3. There's a new High Seer, and the party stays with Esther's family for the night. Esther's family exchanges stories over dinner, using Primordial and everything. And Esther hands out gifts to her family, and Rosalind promises mischief to one of Esther's siblings, which comes in the form of scaring the ever-loving bejesus out of the High Seer with inanimate objects turning animate and whatnot, and also Rosalind speaking through Thorn. It's a whole affair, and it happens near the end. Most of the siblings appreciate their gifts. Some siblings appreciate their gifts more than others. And Molotov has kids and is also soulbound, and Esther's gonna kick his ass for not telling her. She finds they end up finding this cat who has this big chungus of a soul, and Queen Alessandra, killer of iguanas and slayer of birds, is what the cat introduces herself as. And this is apparently just Queen Alessandra's world, and we're just living in it, apparently. The tribes are also feeling the effects of the plains, but are hesitant to take sides and form alliances as they're still recovering from Sagittarius. In the morning after, the most of the party is flirted with, and because Esther has 2 vestiges, the various gold diggers of the tribe try to court her, and to varying degrees of success, mostly not because, hey, she's taken, fuck you. The food is way too goddamn spicy for most of the party. Caius tries to supplement this by doing a backflip, which does nothing. Xenia steps away to find a Genasi boy running from a pack of monsters. The young Genasi boy is flown away from danger, but seems to have an aversion to heading to the tribes. The Howlers prove to be a challenge, as Conrad miscalculated the party's ability to pass. Wisdom saves.
I didn't miscalculate shit.
John is barely able to use his shiny new character for most of the encounter, and yes, I'm still salty about it.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck you, bro.
Don't interrupt his story time.
I'm the DM! My story time!
And I don't give a shit.
The young Genasi introduces himself as Fergus Flair, a young fire Genasi who was grossly mistreated by his tribe, an offshoot of the Scorched Earth tribe who were once exiles and ran away. His disdain for the tribe seems to stem from his mistreatment, as the head warrior hates him for months, and in his mind, got his parents killed by sending them both on a suicide mission. This and the fact that the rest of the council lied to him about it drove him to run away. Esther is rightfully horrified by Fervis's past and thinks the tribe, along with Fervis's choosing, was corrupted. And since Fervis technically wasn't officially exiled, he is still considered an exile in the eyes of Esther's tribe. Esther disliked that. And fought with the seer as much as possible on this. Ashta is also horrified to look at the dark mirror that had been put in front of him, which he confides in Caius about, and Caius sort of encourages Ashta to take the 17-year-old Fervis under his wing, which is kind of hard for Ashta because he's still shorter than the boy. But just to take him under his wing and prevent him from making the same mistakes that Ashley made in his youth. And Fervus proves useful as he is well versed in potions, poisons, and bomb crafting. And Esther urges Fervus to stay at the very least one night in their floating magic island. Then, out of sheer curiosity, Fervus agrees, and that's where we left off.
All right.
Good job.
Thanks.
One quick edit: the Scorched Earth tribe are not all exiles or descended from exiles. It was
Yeah,
an
it's
offshoot
outside
of the
offshoot,
Scorched
yeah.
Earth exiles.
Yeah, I meant to say that.
Yeah, no worries.
Also, fucking Rosalind did some goddamn sand sledding on a shield.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the sledding.
That was incidental.
Speaking of sand
She
sliding,
didn't wipe out.
just wait.
Oh
Just
boy.
wait.
Also, the kid Fervus and Xenia both harvested things from the Howlers just in case we wanted to remember that for the future. But yeah.
All right. So, moving forward, you guys can presumably spend the night healing up the people you can. Lending your assistance where need be, as while not everyone is injured, many people are very spooked, as is seen through the high empath and a lot of the empaths of the village being up and about and doing their best to settle, but you can see even some of them are rattled.
Mm-hmm.
Esther needs to talk to the High Council.
Alright. Yeah, you can probably find them pretty quickly, if you'd like to. Just
She'll
step into the tent.
she'll look for the High Matron first.
Okay. And as you kind of step into the tent, where you know she lives, you see her kind of resting with a number of the younger children, not like the babies, but the ones usually mostly below 10 years old, all kind of discussing with them and telling them stories, as well as the legend of the Howlers and why we fear them, and that things they can do to, in the future, learn to keep away from them.
Would Esther know her name, or would she only address her as their title?
Typically, it's formal. It's like formally acceptable to address it as the title.
Mm-hmm.
This one, like many of the other elders, are new from when you knew them.
Interesting. She'll approach and just... Hi, Matron?
She kind of looks to you and nods and says, she looks over to one of the kids and she goes, "You tell me, go ahead and tell the younger ones the stories of what happens when you lose your way in the desert." And she picks another one of the older boys and says, "Make sure everyone stays inside the tent. I'm going to step outside for a moment." She steps out. She is familiar to you. She's one of the older women of the tribe.
Mm.
Generally, she was pretty well liked, and pretty wise person. No particular magical abilities, but she was a person you knew at least decently. As for her name, I can't find my notes on that, so I will have to let you know that at another point in time.
That's fair. I'll just call her by her title for now. Did the last High Matron pass?
She was requested to be borrowed by another tribe who lost theirs. They had quite a death toll in an ambush.
Which
Older women.
tribe? If you don't
She
mind.
mentioned another one of your larger collective tribe, that you know is usually a little bit to the west of you guys.
Alright. I need to speak with the High Council. And as a matron, I believed it was appropriate for me to discuss with you first.
What is your concern for the council? She kind of like pats down on top of a log and waits for you to start speaking.
As there just kind of, I guess, sits in front of her, in a sense, a bit more comfortable in the sand than on the log, and just the elemental dismay right now in the plains. There are issues, and I fear that we are not, well, you are not as prepared for it as I would like you to be.
this is from your uh, incursion from the tribe, that you're aware of this?
Pardon, what'd you say?
And you learned this during your incursion from the tribe?
Not necessarily, but from my experience outside of the tribe, is what is happening is a lot more complex and grand than I think you understand right now. And it is my duty to make sure that you are all fully aware of the danger that is coming to this plane.
Well, speak on it. I can make sure that at least our tribe is made aware, and if the other elders think it should be brought to the council, the others can confirm that.
When is the next meeting of the five?
If I recall, it was planned before this whole combat began. It was planned to be in a couple weeks.
And which tribe shall be hosting?
Let me see. Just switch to the right map for this one. Hold on. Oh, so many names, so many names.
I know, I'm sorry.
It's all good. It seems that the Bear de Osium are meant to host.
Where to Osium, really?
It's going to be a long journey, but I'm sure we can find our way.
No,
I'll type it in the chat, Ariel, don't worry.
I was gonna say it's not.
Thank you. I can't quite make out what's being said.
Oh, sorry, I'll speak up a bit.
Liberi de Osium.
Okay.
It's Latin.
Text would help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Damn it, close enough.
Oh, liberi.
Yes. I'm bad with languages, I apologize.
Liberate the
Um,
possums.
There we go.
Stop.
See, I'm not the
I know
DM.
Latin.
I hate it.
Go ahead and roll me a history check. Actually, no one else is there to hear it, never mind.
We're not.
Um,
no.
Yes, I sort of went off on our own for this.
Which, to be fair, makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, the rest of us are wreaking havoc elsewhere, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably.
Esther is one of the main people who has the least healing capabilities, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Esther's usually also the source of the havoc.
Yeah.
Probably,
Well,
Yeah.
sometimes.
you can certainly perpetuate much of the havoc.
Alrighty. So the Baridosium then.
I think they plan to come a little bit towards the center of the desert just to make things easier for us, but it's going to be significant.
Of course. Alright. Well, and you said this was in just a few weeks.
It was meant to be. Now that the fighting is finished, it may be delayed some, or expedited for all we know. We're still waiting for certain messengers to arrive. I can send an inquiry if you'd like.
I would very much appreciate that. I'd also like to ask. I know that the High Council, each member is allowed to bring several of their own in accompaniment of them for a more balanced out decision to remind of certain things that are to be discussed. If at all possible, would I be able to accompany with you?
I think given you and yours place in the combat, it would be appropriate, yes.
Thank you for that honor. I'm very grateful.
Hope you serve well.
I hope so as well. And as soon as the inquiry can come, I would be very appreciative.
I'll make sure you're found as long as you're around.
I'm not too hard to find.
Depends how far away you are.
She's just gonna point to the castle off in the distance.
She's gonna point to the fact the castle can fly.
Understood. I will develop a more solid method of communication for this occasion.
You have magics, yes?
Yes, I do.
I heard from some of the little ones that it changed from what it used to be.
It did.
More akin to the more standard magics of the realm.
Yes.
Then I'm sure somehow with that you'll be able to find a way to communicate.
I will attempt. As best I can.
Make sure you do. Do you want to lend me a hand with educating the young ones? I'm
I
sure
will
you have
just-
many stories to tell.
I would love to, yes.
She kind of smiles and brings you into the tent with her and waits for the one who's telling quite the enthusiastic story now about how he got lost in the desert for a couple of days and eventually his parents found him after he'd fallen asleep halfway through a journey and stopped for lunch. And as the story finishes, she steps back in and, with your help, begins telling of stories and almost fairy tales of how things to watch for that aren't of the desert, things during the Plains of Wrath, the dangers of the cavalry that you fought. And it is familiar. You're used to being able to tell these kind of stories and weave them in a way that is meant to educate the young ones. And going back to this kind of simple, comforting tradition feels nice. So, unless anyone else has something they want to do before they take a rest.
No, not really.
Alright. Yep, children out of bone, that is correct.
Singular bone or plural bone?
I think that,
Children of the bones.
sorry, of the bones.
No,
In a
the
sense.
is not really a thing, so you don't have to worry about that. But
As well.
bones, plural?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ablative ossibus.
Here's looking at you, Sky.
I'm just saying that's what I translated it to. Do
It's an
not
older
at me.
dialect of the dead language, don't worry.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Fantasy world. I
Sure.
just got very curious, so I pulled out my dictionary. I'm sorry.
That's
If
alright.
you desire, I will give you the translations of the other tribes right now.
Nah, it's okay.
Yeah, we'll pick them up as we go on.
Alright.
I mean,
This
I
is-
don't because I also have the Word doc, but
Yeah, speaking of which, you and I need to discuss more about Genasi stuff.
don't worry about it.
No.
Although to be fair, it would be reasonable that Fergus is a little bit less aware of the tradition of the tribes. He did leave very early.
Yeah.
Hence why I
Fergus
would
believes
like...
that tradition is just peer pressure from dead people.
Right. So we'll assume that the knowledge you have, John, is
Yeah.
equivalent to that of your first read-through.
Yeah.
Basically, if there's something else you'll need to know that you don't know offhand, you'll make a history check for it. Fair enough?
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine.
Alright. So. As you guys begin to rest, I'm sure you guys read it last time, but you each have a dream. Except for Ashta, because I lost your dream. I don't know what happened. I apologize.
Oh, so I just don't have it anymore?
Yeah, I wrote it, and it's not there anymore, and I need to find what happened to it if I can.
Wasn't that 2 weeks ago?
Yes, and I've been doing exams since then.
Okay, I'm just making sure I wasn't misremembering there.
No, it's just
I don't.
I had meant to write it, and then
Game
I,
than I did.
I got screwed royally by exams.
Fair enough.
So, you each wake up, recalling such a dream.
Almost all of us.
Almost all of us, yeah.
We'll say that yours is in, it got lost in transport. It's come through the tube of whatever
Lost
god is in charge of that. got
Fucking dream
Um,
snail mail. Are you kidding me?
Hermes was like Hermes had an
No,
off day
it's
that
like
day.
it's like when you're texting but you lose connection
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah,
it
it's still
could not be
sending.
sent.
He's gonna get the same dream 3 times in a row then tomorrow night.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just getting educated in Latin from Ari real quick. Not a bad thing.
Ariel's
sorry,
bringing,
Ari,
Ariel's bringing down the Latin hammer.
It's okay, you do your thing, it's okay. Just
We did our
have
best,
a
I'm
look,
sorry.
have a look, it's okay.
All good.
Languages.
I'm trying.
You are, it's good. It was good. I just
Really, it was Sky there.
so curious.
I tried my hardest, brother.
Yep, it's fine. I just got very
Ah.
curious and happened to have a dictionary with some declension samples at the front, and one of them happens to be us because it's a
I don't-
kind of
I don't
unusual
e-
neutral noun. I'm sorry.
I don't even know what the word declension means.
It's like conjugation, but for nouns.
Bro, we dumb
What?
as hell.
Why would you deconjugate it out? Anyways,
Because they don't rely on word order to impart meaning. You have to change the noun in order to tell what it's doing in the sentence.
horrifying. I'm never learning another language ever again.
You're right, man. English is so much easier.
No, it's like English pronouns. English pronouns are like the one thing in the language that held on to declension, which is why you have he does this, but it's done to him. That sort of thing.
See, here's the thing. I had a problem with those growing up because my mother never learned that in the English she learned. It's a whole thing. Anyways,
Okay.
It's like in Slavic languages, they don't have articles. They don't have a, they don't have the, they don't have and. So you have to change the ending of the words in order to assimilate with it, and it's 9 different endings per context.
I'm learning ASL and nothing else. Just
wanted
that, I
to
already know
die.
those words. I just gotta learn how to say them differently.
Fair enough.
Alright.
That's
So,
what learning a language is, Conrad. I know
I'm
those
terrible at
words,
them.
I just have to say it differently. That's called learning a language.
no, because I don't have to conjugate shit. So,
Conjugations for suckers.
as you guys
Where's my
awake,
notes?
Esther. It's a very familiar smell out morning. One you weren't quite expecting.
Desert.
Not quite.
Fuck up. Shut the fuck up, you fucking bitch. Shut up.
Terrible. It's the smell once more of the celebration meals.
Oh, so dessert.
No, actually, the meals, the same foods that were being cooked yesterday seem to have been cooked a second time.
Oh, somebody else is back.
Oh dear. Who the fuck is back? I'm gonna.
As you kind of step outside of the hut and into the morning light.
Esther,
It's-
again.
Yes? What'd I do?
No, it's an Esther doppelganger.
Oh,
No,
It's Esyther,
fuck
again.
off. I'll literally fucking leave. Like, I'll leave.
as you step
Conrad.
outside, you see a ring of children, all covered in various foods, from shoulder up, basically, and all holding out a bowl for you. And they all go, "Surprise!" indignant as you wake up.
Oh, what's all this?
And they kind of smile and giggle, and they start like pushing each other, and then, I've forgotten all the children's names. Hold on.
Is this all the kids that she matroned?
A lot of them, yes, as well as some of your siblings.
Well, good morning, all of you. What's all
As well.
this for?
You see Corrales kind of like push out from behind you and poke you in the back.
She'll look at him. What's all this?
He hands you like a small wrapped box.
Oh.
It
Oh.
was decided as an apology for the last celebration being so rudely interrupted that you get to have 2. So welcome back again. He kind of smiles and gives you a hug.
And she'll hug him tight. You didn't have to go through all this trouble.
Oh, it wasn't just me. Might as well, we haven't had much cause to celebrate lately. You coming back and us being able to survive all this seems a good reason to celebrate twice. It'll be smaller, but
That
I think you'll enjoy the time to tell the stories now.
the size of it never mattered to me. Just the fact that I can spend it with all of you is what's important.
You got the extra time. Although I think that the new one might not be as welcomed as others.
Yeah, I don't think so as well.
Maybe discuss with him somewhere he can stay. He kind of nods up towards the castle.
Oh, believe me, we already have.
Right. I think he has till noon.
In any case, he'll be gone before then. I suppose the castle is there for him, and he's welcome to stay as long as he likes, but I'd rather him leave and not upset everybody.
Unfortunately, we have to listen to who we have to listen to.
Tradition is wonderful, but sometimes the old ways are a bit too old.
You say this now, wait till we get to the council meeting.
Oh, are you attending as well?
No, but everyone's got a journey there, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
And you know how much of a stickler those types are. Kind
Oh,
of smiles and open up your gift. Leave the serious talk for later.
fine, fine. And she'll sit down in the horde of children. And
And as soon as you sit down, they each try to push their bowls that they all seem to have made themselves into your face. And
Esyther-
you get a horrible, horrible realization that, oh god, it's like 13 or 14 little Xenias when they're just learning how to cook.
Conrad, did you roll
Yes.
13 or 14 d20s for this?
No, I rolled 3.
Okay.
3.
oh, am I gonna die?
That's a great question.
Esther will open up the gift.
And as you do, it is it's odd. You've heard of... Actually, roll a history check.
Oh, surprise! It's another vestige. You found 3.
No, I'm not that
Yeah,
crazy.
one was just in your
I'd-
clam chowder. It's like, what the fuck?
Okay. It's a piece of glasswork. Made in a strange way. There are no strings, no leather cord that attaches the pieces of molded glass. You know that basically what this is 2 spellcasters, one who can move earth and one who can control flames. One will shape the sand in the air to the shape they want it. Then one who can control flames will use that to mold and melt a kind of chain link piece of glass as jewelry. And it's just a simple necklace with a pair of 3 symbols at the bottom. Simple heart. A symbol that you would recognize as being the formal symbol of the Genasi Desert. Kind of 3 twisted spirals in a what's it called? Inside of a triple layered triangle, connected each by a small piece of glass. The triangles and the swirls spin independently from one another.
I know
And-
exactly what symbol this is too.
Is this like a
Yep.
Triskelion?
I don't know what that word is. I'm sorry, Ariel. I'm
Yeah.
so uncultured.
It's okay. Probably that's not as common as I think it is.
It's an alchemic elemental symbol.
Okay, then it's probably not what I'm thinking of.
It's one I just came up from the top of my head, so sure, we'll go with that.
The triangles you got dead on though.
Oh, cool.
As well as the swirls. You'd be very surprised how symbolic that actually turned out to be.
Awesome. And the third one is just a small kind of symbolic flame attached to the top.
Esther is very close to tears.
You have a number of spices that could be causing that, if you want an excuse.
She
As-
doesn't give a shit.
No, it's just the turmeric. It's just the turmeric.
And she's holding it very, very carefully in her hand. And just. Who made this?
Not sure. I bought it off of one of the other tribes a year ago.
Corrales,
Yes.
this is the nicest gift anyone has ever given me.
Well, in that case, make sure you remember the fact that I'm your favorite brother.
Do you mind putting it on for me, please?
Sure. You should get to eating. I think the kids are getting impatient.
Yes, I will, as soon as this lovely thing is around my neck.
And he takes it and kind of, as you lift your hair up, he puts it against the back of your neck and ties it off. It's basically a series of hooks made of hardened glass.
Now, would you like to sit and eat as well?
Nope, that's your tribe. That's your meal. And he kind of
Oh.
just pats you on the head and walks away.
Esther just mumbling under her breath, little bastard. Now,
Yeah.
I have missed you all so much.
One of
Grown.
the, you see one of your younger siblings kind of come up. The youngest, Jazz, Cole.
Close enough.
Oh no, Jazz is the mom, right? Sorry, that's the last one on the sheet, so I always mix the two up. Cole kind of steps up with a big smile on his face and goes, "You know you can't refuse any of them." And he just puts the just biggest, like chunkiest looking soup you've ever seen in front of you.
Esther will look at him with a determined glint in her eye, because if there's one thing she's good at, it's scaring the shit out of her little siblings.
Yep.
And just, oh, I know, and I never wish to. And in one foul swoop, she's gonna gulp the entire fucking bowl down.
Roll a Constitution saving throw.
Yep. Oh, can I use... Oh, feign points you can't use for that. Fuck. Oh, blessed be. Fuck! Oh, please be good enough.
It's enough not to throw up, but it's definitely not pleasant.
She's just gonna kind of gulp, suppress a grimace, and look at Cole and just... That was rather good.
He kind of looks a bit disappointed in that.
She's gonna smile. Nice try.
I thought that chunks of sand would make it taste bad.
You
Yes.
underestimate how much sand I have eaten in my life.
If I told you I peed on them to make them clump together, would that make it worse?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes
good thing
it
I
would.
did. Good thing I didn't do that then.
Oh, thank home, on. And you see us, it's just like, oh fuck, thank God. Now, who's next?
And you just take your time sampling because, oh boy, there are enough options to sample. At about halfway through the meal, the other folks, you begin to wake up and you hear the sound of a small gaggle of giggling children as well as Esther out at the front.
Esther, she's also, as she eats, just regaling stories, things that they've gone through, the dragons they've fought and faced. Particularly the Grey Dragon. She likes telling that story.
And they roll a performance check.
Dun.
Purvis is also probably listening in a ways away.
Alright, so as you tell it, they are enraptured. It seems that the idea of a dragon is one that they've all heard of. They all have their own kind of concepts of what they should be. One describes it almost as a larger lizard folk. Another describes it as kind of like a genasi, but they have wings and scales. And one just describes it like a big snake. And as you tell them the story, they keep asking you questions like, no, didn't it look like this? No, didn't it move like this? And you have to kind of keep correcting them and getting them to kind of accept the story as is instead of how they envision it. But all in all, they're laughing and kind of oohing and awing as they should be.
Service is taking
With an appropriate story.
notes. Trying to approximate
actually-
a sketch of what a dragon would look like.
Is Rosalind there?
Yeah, you'd be nearby.
You kids want to see a
She
dragon?
could help. Actually, she could use prestidigitation to create a non-magical trinket or an illusory image that can fit in your hand and last until the end of your next turn. So basically, 6-second mini dragon in the palm of her hand.
Yeah, and you could absolutely do that. And if the kids were impressed before, they're completely flabbergasted now. Of just like, oh, that's what they look like, and you do like a little almost animation of it, like shooting its breath weapon, and they're just, oh.
It's a very, very hard fight. But we were victorious. And I have proof.
You do?
Indeed, I do. And she's going to disappear into the tent really quick. And then reappear from pulling from her bag 1 platinum scale.
1 platinum.
Scale.
And they each they all go to grab it at the same time.
Now, pass it around. Be careful with it. Only one I have. But that is from the hide of the dragon.
And they all kind of look at it, and you immediately see Cole like go to try and bite it.
Don't bite it.
But it looks so cool.
I swear to God, you're just like Pyrrhus.
Who's Pyrrhus? Did you replace me?
No, dear. I could never replace you.
Good.
Pyrrhus
Who's
is a
Pyrrhus?
friend. He is a friend of mine.
You have a boyfriend named Pyrrhus?
I certainly do not have a boyfriend.
Girlfriend named Pyrrhus?
Her name is not Pyrrhus.
You have a girlfriend?
And Esther realizes the mistake she has made.
Yeah.
You are
Purvis pipes in.
swarmed by children grabbing at your skirts and being like, tell us about her! Rosalind, Miss Rosalind, show us!
Oh
So
dear.
she's gonna feign over to Rosalind. I made a mistake.
Is Ashton in earshot?
Yeah.
Ashton, like, appears behind Esther.
And eventually, Cole looks up at you, Ashton, and goes, is Esther's girlfriend Rosalind?
I mean, if only she'd allow me. But no.
And there's just a quick fade over. It's like, how about you keep this one close to the chest, yeah?
And Esther will feign back. I'm not saying anything revealing. It was a mistake and an accident, but I've never said anything that could identify.
Just call her something, not her actual name either.
I planned to.
Making sure.
Miss Rosalind,
Well-
Miss Rosalind, is Esther a good kisser?
I actually wouldn't know.
You haven't even
Rosalind-
kissed her yet?
It's
Rosalind is
me.
not my girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
I'm flattered, though.
My girlfriend is here, dear. She's far away.
You hear a very distinct rumble of, excuse me, of your mother from inside the tent.
Uh-oh.
Shit.
Purvis can feel this kind of deadly aura emanating from mother,
There's a quick
right?
fade over to Esther. It's like, close to the chest, huh?
Close to the... Oh dear.
Esther's just gonna feign back. I admit I made a mistake. Now I'm gonna die.
You made 2 mistakes. You said it, and then you kept saying it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't stop. Anyways. And
Well, certainly not going to stop now.
Esther's just gonna look to Colin. What you've done.
And just, you hear,
Caius will like feign in. This is a fine predicament you've gotten yourself in.
you hear the footsteps of the shifting sand of maternal rage behind you. Purvis, there is some flashback going on in your mind that you didn't even know it was a memory you still had, but the fear of God has been instilled within you.
There's a very quick
Ah.
feign over to Esther from Rosalind. Do you want to get out of here?
And Esther's just gonna feign back. No, if I leave now, it's going to be worse.
All right. Good luck.
Esther's just gonna look at Cole and go, you might want to run.
By the way, real quick, we got short rest, right? Or long rest, rather?
We got a
Long
long
rest,
rest.
Long rest,
Yeah.
yeah.
And as Jasmine appears above you, still with her trailing foot, the kids scatter to the wind.
Yep.
Why do I hear
There.
boss music?
Yeah, why do I hear boss? Yeah, no, why do I hear boss music?
And as you kind of look, turn around to the stone, smiling face of your mother, you get a little bit of that same fear that you don't realize it, but Fervus is feeling at that exact same moment.
Ah,
Yes, Mama?
You have a girlfriend and did not think to tell me yesterday, or the day before, or the day before that, or even to send me a message, or let me find out in advance, or do anything along those lines.
It's because it's not, official, if that makes any sort of sense.
Do you think I care?
No, but I didn't necessarily deem it of importance in consideration to what was going on in the current moment.
Just kind of takes a deep breath and just goes, Esther, so help me, I will destroy you.
I apologize, I'm sorry.
Fervus is like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck.
If you'd like, I will tell you all about her.
Fervus will lean over to the closest party member and be like, can we just go to the castle now? This is kind of scaring me.
It's probably Caius, actually.
Caius probably looks back, yeah, we should probably go. We're just gonna walk off. Both of my characters are just gonna walk off.
Okay, where are you walking off to?
You may want to let
Hopefully
Ashton know where they're
towards
from.
for the castle. Caius will faint over to Ashto. We're just gonna head back towards the castle, man.
Gonna head upwards?
Try to. Hey, can we go back to the castle now? Caius will faint over to Ashta. He wants to go to the castle now.
I wanna stay on the side here to make sure in case Esther needs actual support here.
Can you just send a platform down?
Yep, sure. Sure. Feigns over to the bird
Yep.
to go get Rose.
The bird fans over to the monarch sends another someone to go talk to Rose, and the Rose
Fucking
sends another platform.
yeah, gets to the switchboard. How my
Hey,
transfer you're called?
Yeah.
Could Issa have been given the Feign already? Because I planned on that on the level up, and I haven't given myself the 13th Feign because of it. I do.
I want to make that. I want to make that a
it.
whole moment, so we'll save that one for a little bit.
Okay.
But the platform is eventually sent down a bit off over the hill so that no one tries to sneak on or anything. And are Fervus and Caius going up, or just Fervus?
Fervus and Caius.
Okay.
Caius kind of feels the menacing energy. It's like, oh, I felt this before. I'm not gonna deal with that.
Alright. And... sorry, I know you just said it. Was it Fervus and Caius or just Fervus?
Fervus and Caius.
Sorry.
Dun,
Both
dun,
I don't know
dun,
what just happened to my brain
dun,
there.
dun, 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 dun.
Okay. So both of your characters go up, I guess.
Yeah.
Esther's still standing there, slightly nervous.
What kind of
doesn't-
conversation do they have on the walk there?
It's just like, so what do you put in that book of yours there? Oh, just general research findings and stuff. Oh, you're one of the smart people. Okay, cool.
Ah, you
And then
don't
there's an
have.
Go on.
awkward silence, and then there's just kind of an awkward silence.
Okay, what happens after that?
Oh, that's when Rose appears.
Ah,
Rose
shit.
gets there. I have a whole thing ready. So, we're going to save that for after. I
just
assume
wondered.
Issa is informed as well of the potential new stowaway.
Hmm.
He's invited. He's not a stowaway.
For now,
Emotional stowaway.
Emotional stowaway invited by Esther.
he's checking out the campus for now.
Uh huh.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
taking a tour.
So as Jazz kind of looks at you, Esther just goes, "We have a celebration to go to. Will not keep you from it. But if you come home and you're not absolutely plastered, tell me so many stories. And if you are absolutely plastered, you're gonna tell me all the fun stories.
Amazing.
Yes, Mama, I promise.
Go enjoy your celebration, and if you keep more important information from me like this again, young lady,
I will find you and I'll destroy you.
Esther's trying really hard not to smile.
roll a deception check.
Stop!
I
He's
will
a dragon!
destroy you.
Fuck! Dude, I can't!
Have
Shit!
I finally get to roll a mom check on you guys.
Oh, the
Fuck.
smile is so shaky
Oh,
as that
God.
exact line, "I have a son, he is a dragon," runs through Esther's mind.
You what?
She kind of just
God.
looks at you and just goes, and turns to Rosalind and goes, "Hey Rosalind, can you do me a lovely favor at the celebration today?"
Hide the body.
Well, possibly. It depends on the favor.
Oh, it's a wonderful favor, I promise you. There's this wonderful thing we have. It's fermented honey and cream. I want to make sure that Esther gets a healthy dosage of that with each meal she has, if you can, throughout the day, and just make sure she's drinking that constantly.
I wasn't aware honey could be fermented.
It's not the honey that's fermented. It's the milk that's fermented. The honey kind of sweetens it up.
Ooh.
Isn't that
That's-
just sweetened yogurt?
In a manner.
Esther's gonna faint over, yes it is.
Rosalind's gonna feign back how alcoholic exactly.
Esther's gonna faint back, it's very, and I need you to be on my side here!
I will be on your side, warn Ashta.
There's a quick also over from Astra, just like apropos of nothing, just like
Yeah. Rosalind
and then there's
was-
also meat exists, so honey can be turned into alcohol.
True, but Rosalind
Yeah.
didn't know that, so
Astra would.
yeah.
Yeah,
Ashta would know it all.
The cream is definitely an interesting idea. It's kind of the like dairy equivalent to Jello shots.
It just sounds like mead yogurt to him.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Although mead still requires barley and something like that, but yeah, similar process.
No.
It does. You can't just do it with just honey.
You can do it a little bit, but it doesn't take barely anything.
Esther's just gonna look and go, Mama, you don't have to get me drunk for me to tell you things.
She just whips back to you with that same smile and goes,
I know.
"Really? Really? Because it didn't seem that you being sober got me to being told anything."
Ooh.
I didn't want it to be as
Are you
important.
guilt tripped into drinking by your mother?
I have a story about my actual mother that relates somewhat to this. And I'm
Maybe
trying-
another time.
Yeah.
I know, another time, but
Yeah.
fuck.
Off the recording.
But I didn't deem it to be as important.
Well, enjoy your celebration. And she turns around and heads back inside.
Astra
Unless
walks up.
there's-
You will not, and you will not.
Esther's going to feign over to
I'm
them.
sorry, but what do you take me for?
Just making sure.
And Esther's going to look at Ashley and go, personally, it's my favorite drink.
What else?
There-
Sorry, it is or it isn't. Not gonna cut out.
Isn't. It
Okay.
not my favorite. So, and she's going to feign to them, because she doesn't know if her mom's still listening. I didn't realize it was important to her. But I suppose, considering the past, sense why this would be an issue.
Rosalind will feign back. I suspect it's also just the curiosity and concern of a parent. I imagine if it was me, my father would want to know. Eventually, sooner.
It's a bit more amplified. There have been issues past with partners that have led to unhealthy
Mm.
situations.
Is this in like the fan group chat, by the way?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And just it might also just be a bit of traditions again.
Traditions, not so much. If it was soul bonding, different, because That is incredibly important. Speaking of soul bonding,
Ah, yes,
Right,
you have
yeah.
another family member to speak with.
I
Yeah.
need to go speak with Tov,
That's
and
fine.
I'd like to meet my niece.
Yeah, you're gonna kick his ass.
I am going to kick his ass.
Like
Or
I
he
said
may
in the
be older.
recap.
Going to kick his ass. I also need to. Oh, speaking of which. Not speaking of which, but I know when the next 5 months, so about several times a year, the 5 councils meet. One tribe will play as host. It changes every meeting, and 5 councils shall meet and discuss matters. Now, it's set for the tribe to the west. I'm not saying to discuss anything. Nothing, obviously, to politics or anything like that, but what I am asking is for permission to make them aware of the dangers that might be into play, because they are not. They do not know. They do not know the magnitude of the dangers that are wreaking havoc in the desert. The desert is connected to the element, and it is very likely that another threat will emerge around here. I only ask to make sure that they understand there is a magnitude of danger which they should be taking with caution. Nothing more, nothing less. Like you said, Ashta, keep it close to my chest. It is important to me, my people, where danger is coming.
It's understandable, but keep in mind that we're not even entirely certain. It's the best idea we're going on, but it doesn't mean it's absolutely true.
I would just rather them be prepared than not prepared. Even if
I think-
something should happen.
I think they're already going to be prepared given the last ordeal, but I get your point.
Regardless, the High Matron has given me permission to attend with her through the next council. Due to the fact that I've put myself in battle and have allowed myself to be put in harm's way, my people. She has given me the honor, it is an honor, to be able to attend the council.
Real
And
quick,
as
is
for
Sky kind of cutting out for anyone else?
Yes.
Yeah.
A little bit, but
Oh.
I'm getting most of it.
shit, sorry.
Can you get closer to your mic, or is it an internet thing?
How's that?
You sound closer to the mic.
Yeah.
Maybe let's try like this.
All
So
right.
far sounds better.
Just keep talking.
Well, and as for the rest of you, you need to attend. It's the whole tribe that has to go. As we have to move, and I just don't know if you'd actually be allowed in the actual meeting. The issue.
We have Fane, and the
We-
one for that.
They do. So, is something you'd be interested in?
Sorry, would someone be interested in what?
Yeah, is this something you'd be interested in?
In what regard exactly?
In attending, in accompanying me?
I mean, if possible.
And if we're not allowed into the actual meeting point, we might as well be nearby.
Maybe they'll just let you have a +1 in the same manner of me and Gaius in the war room.
I could always ask. You all are being viewed with very high respect here. You put yourselves in the line of fire in battle, people that aren't your own, in a sense.
I
You
guess
have-
it's a matter of perspective.
But regardless, you have respect. So just be cautious of that.
Be cautious.
You are looked to as great warriors, as noble fighters, those willing to put themselves in the line of fire for an innocent. Very high honor.
So we should try not to trip on our hems and take a face full of sand in front of everybody. Is that
No,
essentially
no.
what you're saying?
In a sense, but you're most likely going to trip at some point. Everybody does. That is, until you learn how to actually walk on. And she's gonna wiggle her, and you notice Esther's not wearing shoes. And she hasn't. Ever since you guys entered the desert.
I mean, some people would probably notice that.
Probably.
You had noticed, but she's gonna wiggle her toes. It's a lot easier without the shoes.
I'm sorry, I'm afraid of burning my feet, really.
Oh, so that's one thing for a mage with sandals. That's another for someone wearing armor.
Fair enough.
Speaking of which, how are you not baking in there?
Resilience,
Oh, for
stubbornness,
heaven's
determination.
sake, come here, and she's gonna do prestidigitation and use the cooling effect of it on like the closest layer, the lowest layer of his armor, so that he stops suffering, because I'm sure he is now that I think about it.
Yes, I was gonna say, Ashton, do me a favor and just roll me a raw performance check for just the unbelievable ecstasy of having cold air when you've been in armor in the desert for 2 days.
I was gonna say
You're from
you
the north.
Will it be a constitution check first to see like how hard it hits them in the first place, or?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is the first. This is the first.
You are
Okay.
Wait, why is
Shouldn't
that
be that.
advantage?
Why is it
Oh,
triple
13.
advantage? Oh, we were fighting before.
You're
Yeah.
13.
right. Yes. So
Still 13.
Yeah. So it's incredibly pleasant. But go ahead and still roll that either deception or performance for just like the absolute joy that causes you.
Let's do deception. 13.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm rolling an insight to contest that.
Go for it.
Esther's just laughing because she knows he's faking.
Oh, what does that mean? Nothing changes. So does she not notice?
Up until this point, he's been trying his best to keep it down low. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever assumptions you can make is whatever assumptions you can make.
I'm
Also,
sure
you would
she's
just know he's fucking. He doesn't show stuff if he can help it, so you can just probably
Yeah.
assume as much.
Yeah.
You know, Devin. You know when it's like probably October, and you're inside your blankets and like you've just woken up and you open up your window and you get that first breeze of cool air that goes like just across your face.
Oh, don't even.
I don't
Dude.
open my window that much, but.
Okay, whichever way, like it's like you're super warm, you just get that like nice cool breeze and you're all like cozied up.
You walk into a place with air conditioning when you've been walking outside.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah, no, he's trying to hide it not because he doesn't want to show that it's helpful, but he doesn't want to show that it was that bad of a situation to start with. So he's just like, oh, that's better, thank you.
It's a cantrip. You can ask for it any time.
I forget sometimes.
You don't have to make yourself suffer.
Dumbass.
I haven't the slightest what you're talking about.
By the way, where's Xenia? I'm sure... Xenia, are you still wearing that fur? And she's gonna go off and try to find Xenia. Is Xenia
And-
still wearing, like, the cloak and the goat's fur, mantle and stuff? Or was Xenia smart and did they take that off?
They probably would have taken it off and are enjoying a much more lax temperature. Although it was, yeah, probably a bit more of a lax set of clothing. Although it was nighttime, so they're probably still wearing it
Okay.
right
Esther's just gonna look at Ashton and just, no. There is an activity coming up. I want to take that arm off.
Go on.
I mean, and she'll look at his already kind of sinking, and it's probably not to do any advantage.
What are we dancing on quicksand?
No, but we're sliding on it.
Regular sand or quicksand?
Regular sand.
Yeah, it shrugs and it's like, I mean,
And Esther's just gonna look and go, come with me. I have something to show you. And if it hasn't been destroyed yet by Garnet, hopefully it'll still work.
once again, okay, go on.
This is Doc Brown showing Morty McFly the DeLorean.
And she's going to lead Ashta into the family tent. And you've noticed it before, but it didn't kind of look like anything. It was on its side, so it just kind of looked like a piece of wood. But as you approach it, and Esther brushes off blankets and whatever else is stacked upon it, you see that it's a board.
That-
Long oval, a board. So somewhat like a surfboard in a sense, but
Because he would know
There's-
what that is.
I'm saying for player context.
Yeah.
Dumbass.
You're saying
Yeah.
he would see, but okay.
It's kind of like a pod racer from
Oh my
Treasure
God.
Planet, but without the sail.
Oh, like from Star Wars.
No, not
this
like
is
that.
pod racing.
No, it's like you know that thing in Treasure Planet that the dude uses to like go around the city?
Yeah, he's flying around in it on it in the
It looks-
beginning.
It
Okay.
looks scarily similar to that. And she'll reach over, she pulls up the I suppose the mast in the center of it. She'll click it into place and adjust the sail, and you see it kind of bends out from the mast. It's a very intricate piece. And it looks old. The underside is worn and scratched and sand-grained, and there's quite a few nicks and cuts in the wood, but it has the resemblance of a toy that has been loved by a child, by many children for many years. And Esyther, with her hand on the mast, keeping it upright, she's going to look at you with the brightest smile you have ever seen on her face. This is my sand surfer.
Going to take a wild guess and say you use it to surf sand.
Yes, how could you have ever guessed that,
I don't
Ashta?
know. I guess I'm just a master of insight.
You're very imaginative, aren't you?
He just kind of like walks up to it and gives it a look and is like, "So is this a common practice with your people, or are you a weird one?"
First of all, fuck you. Second
So
of
yes,
all, no, it is common.
he has a small smirk on his face.
So yeah.
It's how a lot of kids learn very, very young. I was given this when I was maybe only 6 years old.
And the size doesn't change.
No. And it's big enough for Esyther to ride comfortably now. You wonder how a 6-year-old Esyther could have ever ridden it. And Esyther looking and go, well, it wasn't just me. Molotov, Kryana, and myself would ride. All at the same time. On this board.
Oh, with their little arms.
Were
fully
you in a
extended over
trench
their
coat
heads.
on each other's shoulders, or what?
No.
Trench coat riding a goddamn sand
We
surfer.
were too small to control the rudder and the mast and the sail all by ourselves, so one would be the lookout and point the directions, one would control the rudder, and one would man the sail. We were known as the trio of terror. And there were many times where our board was taken away from us because we accidentally ran over the high seer, and it's not polite for their undergarments to be shown to the entire tribe. But whoops, they should have watched where they were going.
Accidentally.
Yes, I'm sure they were
Multiple times.
completely in the wrong.
Of course, they should have seen it coming.
Is Rosalind here? No, she walked off. God damn it! Oh.
I mean,
Is-
okay, here's the thing. You walked back into the tent. It's a very large tent. But it's all one family tent.
All right. Can Rosalind incite the word accidentally?
Go for it.
Do you
That's a
need to?
14.
I can tell you right now, it's not
Yeah,
accidental.
I'll have Ash to roll one too, but again, this is the part where you just can just assume based on nature of the
Oh,
person.
I can assume, but I want to be sure.
Oh, Esyther, you don't even got to roll for that. Esyther would say it wasn't accidentally. You can see it written all over her fucking face.
Asha glances over, and Esther might as well be in like a lineup with a freaking plaque in front of her.
Yeah.
He's just like, so there's going to be an event with these things.
I mean, I can most likely get most of the people who won. It's more of a thing. There's never a set day or a time, but when somebody emerges with their sand surf, more often than not, most people will follow along.
And you expect me to do this?
No. If I had expected you to do it, I would have handed it to you. I expect you, if you'd like, to join me and have fun.
Zod look on his face.
Fun's
That's
not
about
really in
now
vocabulary.
that I need. Okay, guys, don't panic as I say this, please. I need Esther to make a strength saving throw.
Uh-oh.
What have you done to me?
Just don't worry. It's nothing
I'm
bad.
within 5 feet of Esther, right?
It's nothing bad.
I know, but I'm within 5 feet of Esther, right?
Yes.
I'm scared.
Esther, as you're saying this, you're lifted off your feet as you see Ash smiling from the front of the tent, her hands pointed towards you, and says, "It's time for your celebration, come!" And she whips her hands towards the outside of the tent, and you go flying out with her.
Esther's just gonna scream. She yeets out of the tent.
Did she
Yep,
take the
and-
board with her? She
you hold
was
on to the
holding
board?
it.
No, she lets go.
Alright, and you are rocketed out of the tent, and basically, like, she does the same motion as if she was tossing you, like a javelin over her shoulder, except you're, like, 5 feet above her hand, and you just go rocketing towards the center of town. Or center of the village, I mean.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's fucking cursing Ash as she goes. She's
Yep.
so mad.
And by the time you get close to the end of the parabola, you land very gently into a cushioned chair, where there is a gathering of people around, with a big smile all on their face.
There's a
As I s-
distant Fane message from Rosalind. Should we bring your board for you?
And Esther sent back, no, that's for
Also-
a later time. Come, the celebration is about to begin.
Also, as Esther was yanked out, but like 1 second later, Ash's hand was like 40% the weight of the crossbow, and he just puts it down slowly, like.
You see Jasmine turn from a conversation with one of the older siblings and Xenia, and just be like, "She does that now. You should go join her."
Sorry, was that Dasha?
Yeah.
Right. He's like, right. Rosalind,
Silence. What are you gonna do?
Yes?
Kais and them are up there. You know where Zinnia is? We should probably go support Esther.
Is Xenia in the tent?
Xenia's in the tent with a plate of food, seemingly just having a conversation with Jasmine.
Would you like to come? Or...
You can see. Actually, roll me a quick perception check, Rosalind.
Okay. That's a 17.
You can see that Xenia's skin is red and peeling.
Oh.
Mm.
Mm.
Which is strange on one thing, that, like, okay, you haven't seen an elf who sunburns before. But the peeling, like the skin peeling off, looks disturbingly like birch bark.
Uh,
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
like shape or texture or strength or what?
On the coloration.
Oh, ugh.
Ooh.
Okay. I suppose on that... I don't know if this is...
What?
Will
Does your-
Rosalind doing prestidigitation on a piece of cloth and handing it to Esther... not Esther, Xenia, is that going to help at all with anything? Even just the feeling of it?
Probably not. You know Xenia's pretty northern.
Yeah.
And Asha is like, do you have any of that aloe vera from your squad?
Do I? I don't know that I do.
Probably not, honestly.
Maybe,
I never thought to ask for any.
Jazz
Asha
kinda
sends a...
Jazz
sends
just kind of waves at you guys and goes, "Just let them be. I'm trying to find out what information from Esther I can get from this one.
Oh my god.
Mm.
You're letting her cook in the sun now.
Don't worry, it's not an interrogation. I'm just enjoying some stories."
Stop
Jasmine
describing.
is-
Fuck!
Enjoy then.
No,
And Rosalind's gonna turn and head out the tent. Ashta, ready? And
Alright.
feign over to Ashta. I'm pretty sure Xenia's going to be discreet. It'll be fine.
I want to hope so for all circumstances, but I like to make sure. And he walks out alongside, and he sends a quick feint over to Kaius, like, hey, if you got a moment, can you go grab some aloe vera from one of Rosalind's squad, and maybe bring it down if you're coming back?
I mean, I guess.
Xenia is literally peeling like a birch tree.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
No, like any sense, like an image.
Oh, okay, yikes.
I'm not
Oh!
exaggerating.
I have to do that. Oh, I'm very squeamish. Okay.
How's the kid?
He's doing alright. He's, running around frantically taking notes. He's trying to get into the command center.
You will not let him in there.
I know, that's what I'm doing.
Maybe
Then-
have. If
But,
he's
like,
too
yeah.
much, let Issa know.
Yeah, I've sort of had to sick Issa on him, so yeah, he's busy doing other things.
Uh, quick question. How old is
17.
17.
no, not he's I was gonna ask that in a second, but how old is oh, what's the ranger girl that Ash is
Simone?
tutoring?
Simone?
Simone. How old is Simone?
Simone's just in her human equivalent of early 20s.
Oh.
Human equivalent of early 20s? So early 20s?
Yes.
Yeah.
Assuming she's a human, yes.
Alright. She also has the human equivalent of brown hair, so, brown hair.
Motherfucker, I never said she's human.
Is she not?
Question.
Does she have pointed ears?
Nope.
Okay. Uh,
Looks fairly human.
Alright,
Moving on.
either way, he'll be like, maybe introduce Simone. They seem like they're similar in their
He's gonna
Right, just
something. I don't know. Keep the weird kids I'm looking after in one spot.
Isn't that a fucking mood?
Oh, someday I will get it so that Asha has to roll a dad check. I will get there, I so
Yes.
swear it.
Yes.
And just as he's walking, he kind of like pinches the bridge of his nose as he realizes what he just thought at Gaius.
Does that mean that Ashta is the dad friend, Esther is the mom friend? We need to find who's the vodka aunt friend.
Who's the which friend?
Let's face it, Caius is
Vodka
the weird
aunt
uncle.
friend. Caius.
That was Ashta a few years ago.
Caius is the vodka aunt minus the vodka, kind of.
Yeah, I think Caius has that inherent weirdness.
Yeah.
I feel like it's Rayla.
He's like
Oh.
Yeah.
weird aunt. He's like weird aunt, weird uncle energy. Caius has.
If you replace vodka with fucking fairy drugs, then yeah, it's Rayla.
Aquarius is the tired grandma.
Anyways, yeah, just as they're walking, Asher grimaces for like half a second. Russell might see,
Probably.
then just continues on.
That was an odd expression. What was that?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Are you trying to make
Caius
me
eventually
worry?
comes down with the aloe.
Kais is on his way with aloe vera.
Yeah.
And Rosalind, you do notice as you step outside the tent, Thorn kind of like clings to the top of your head, and you see his wings furl out, and give you some shade as you walk.
Digimon movie,
he's stand-
motherfucker.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you.
I completely
Uh,
missed what Devin, Ashta, whoever just said. Was that out loud? Is Ashta? Was that?
No, that was Devin.
I completely missed it.
I'm
It was
getting
a minor
don't
reference,
worry.
and I'm glad he got it.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can find an image of it. And as you,
Do your DMing, I'm doing that right now.
all right, yeah, it's giving a nice bit of shade as you walk. Nothing absolutely immune to the strength of it, but yeah. Pseudo drag umbrella. God damn it.
Stop.
So, as you guys join Esther at her seat by the center of town, she's regaling the youth and the younger adults with a story of her choice.
Shit. I gotta think of shit.
They probably would have first asked you, just like, yeah, where'd you go first? How did you meet all these weird people?
And that's
Hey.
why I'm barred
Always
from
weird
50
people.
states.
Esther explained, she'll go, well, when I left first, what, I need the other map. Shit.
Hold on, I'll
What's,
switch you to it.
thank you. Like, fuck, I gotta think of where I'm gonna go. Oh, thank God. Okay, she goes, well, when I left, we were very close to Larry. So I went there. And I saw the ocean. And I stayed there for a while. Thought of taking a ship to one of the other continents. I never did. So I went back. I didn't go to the desert. I went to Viera. the stomping grounds and tour. Met many people, many lovely faces. That whole journey, rather a long time. A year and a half. Just taking my time and trying to see, find. Eventually, I came to Anther. Small city outside of here, the capital, Peduncle. Unfortunately, has destroyed. And I met these people. She'll gesture to Ashta and several job to.
You are breaking up a lot.
Sorry, is this better?
Hopefully. Try.
We can't really tell if you just say one sentence, but we'll see.
Alright, well, I went to Anther, and I met up with these lovely people, and she'll gesture to Ashta and Rosalind.
As they arrive, I assume.
Yeah,
Yep.
as they arrive, and several others. And we performed the job. Cleaning out a spire, middle of a very, very weird forest. We saved a child, and it all just kind of progressed from there. And that's how I met them.
And you see Ash pull on your sleeve and be like, "You say a child? Do you still? Are they on the castle?
They are. They're with their adoptive mother.
Oh, you
when
didn't adopt her?
Oh, believe me, I would have loved to. But unfortunately, with all the adventuring and the traveling, the fighting, it's no place for a child. It's not safe.
As they're walking up, besides, you wouldn't want Esther settling down outside of the tribe, would you? Without you hearing about it?
Oh no, I fully imagine her taking the child and walking around with it. You only need one
What?
hand to cast a spell.
Well, if there's ever another child, who knows?
It's also, there's a quick, feint over to Esther. Beerus.
Esther rolls her eyes and just continues. Well, went through many adventures. We traveled far to the north, through the dangerous hinterlands, seeing many creatures. She's gonna leave out Pyrrhus. We even traveled once to the elemental plains, but that was only for a very short time. It was far too cold. But how about, for an interesting story, how we managed to procure that castle over there in the distance? And she'll launch into that story, starting from when they were climbing up to the citadel.
Mhm.
Does she got a real performance?
If you'd like to, yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't remember it word for word, and I
That's
can't
fine.
do it justice.
So quick feint by good old paranoid Ashton is just maybe keep low on the details of exactly what's up there.
Oh,
Like,
she was going to.
they-
She was just going to say
like-
how they defeated the dragons.
Yep, just, less monarch in that.
Mm-hmm.
You're a rumble from God that says, Ashton, chill, Jesus. Joking.
We're erasing Kaisa's memories when he leaves. Come on, this is on brand.
Yeah, it is. So, how does she do on the performance there?
Yeah, pretty solid. You keep the details sparse of the. You speak of the exotic birds that you found, the dragon who existed in the pits of a castle, and the kids love that story and ask you more and more questions about the dragons because, of course, they do. You get a few questions about the birds, the firebirds, asking if you have any feathers you can show them or anything like that.
Did I not just say we're keeping back on that?
She said exotic birds.
Exotic
Okay.
birds, bro.
Okay, sorry.
There's just parrots up there.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
said firebirds. That's why I'm.
Because
Oh,
it's
for the
what
sake
you
of
guys
sim-
know to be firebirds.
I know.
She's calling
Yeah,
them
there's just
cave
like a cockatoo up there or something.
cave fowl. That is what she's calling them. Cave
Blaze
fowl.
toucans.
No, a cave foul is when you get sent off the penalty box in sand surfing.
Yeah.
Stop. Fucking stop. And then she'll go from that and talk about when they were in Darren Core, seeing all the slurry, how much magic there was. Talking about how she managed to find the vestiges in Lentiel. Just stories and stories and stories. The vestiges. And, well, not how she found them, but how the group found them. And you notice, as she's telling all these stories, she isn't telling her stories. She's telling the stories of the group, the stories of the party, of what happened after she met you, what happened when you all were together. Not what happened before. And it seems that the group, the tribe who are all listening, don't seem to overly notice. It's more so about the adventure. And there are two assumptions that either nothing of interest really happened, or maybe it's not overly something she wishes to discuss. But regardless, she continues. This goes on for hours. Story after story, and the elders are recording it. You see them sitting further, a bit to the front, obviously. They're with a place of high respect, and they have these very large, very thick, very worn books. And they are writing faster than you have ever seen another human being write. A human being is a loose term. Another creature write.
And both Ashton and Rosalind, give me perception checks as you look upon this.
Okay. 20. Bloody hell!
Okay.
Bloody hell!
Damn.
So as the two of you kind of watch each of what's being written down, Rosalind, you especially.
Rosalind especially.
Yes, Rosalind especially. Her
Alright.
DC is lower. You notice that the High Seer is writing this in Primordial. And a number of Seers and apprentices are all writing in various of the Primordial languages, as well as one in common. All the stories differ in the exact wordage, but they're doing their best to keep the as close to Esther's speech as possible. Some write with a bit more focus on the physical elements that she describes, some focus on the precise descriptions she uses. If at any point anyone makes any illusory images, you notice that someone else takes out a book and starts trying to copy it down as quickly as possible from memory. It's interesting to see the kind of single-minded attention put to it, and food is brought to them, drinks are brought to them, enough to keep them functioning, but never once do they seem to look up from the book except to see an illusion that's presented to them.
And Esther keep talking and little bits about visiting the druids in Lucerne. Obviously keeping the details sparse. Visiting people of high power, and eventually even mentioning about Rosalind's father, the Duke of Esyther. How highly he is regarded. About the High Druids. About the Prince Ronir. About an interesting incident that happened with Prince Ronir.
Esther,
That-
there's children.
And you see the kids are loving these stories too.
Yeah. There is discretion, especially among things. The kids who are young enough to not understand do not understand. It goes right over their heads. It's like a dirty joke slipped into a cartoon when you watch it when you're 5. You have no conception of it.
Which
Yeah.
roll me
Is
a
there
charisma
one
check to
about
see
her
how
being
well
a
you do.
stripper?
We don't mention that. Esther doesn't mention that. Esther mentions that she attempted to dance, and that gets a laugh. That gets a fucking laugh from the olders. But the younger kids have no fucking idea. Yeah, fuck you. That's a natural 20, baby!
Yep, you slip in every joke as you wish.
She slips in jokes about her dancing adventures. The adults fucking lose their shit. Corrales kind of gets it, but you can tell that Molotov is very much trying not to lose his cool in front of his children.
Yeah, and lead to an awkward conversation later. Mean by
Jasmine,
Aw.
who has kind of joined the cluster closer to the front now, is looking with mild knowledge and also, what the fuck have I raised?
An expression you're very familiar with, Esther.
Oh, the eternal
Yes.
question.
About embarrassing incidents involving drunk festival goers, Smokestack and Ashta's battle. Or was it Smokestack and Caius?
It was
Caius.
Ashed, I believe. Oh, was it Caius? Oh, it was Caius, you're right.
Yeah, Caius.
Smokestack
Yeah.
and Caius going at it.
Yeah,
So it was fist to fist.
fist to fist. Yeah.
Right, it was fist to fist.
And you
Ashed
see,
was just the one he was insulting.
but when perhaps Esther mentions the fist to fist, Esther's mum perks up just a little bit. Doesn't say anything, but if you're paying attention, if you're looking, you see the glint of interest in her eyes, and that can mean very bad things.
For Caius.
Rest in peace.
For Caius.
I know. I have his
Rip.
character sheet open.
Rest in peace, brother. You will be missed. But she goes on. Hours
Can't believe I have to
pass.
fight someone's mom.
It's an honor thing. As
Right.
hours pass, food is brought out, stories and laughter, and you get the feeling that you now understand, in a sense, as to why Esther is so fond. Because it isn't just one family, it isn't just one parent, it isn't just one sibling, it's all of them. Even if they're not blood related, you see people who are of different races, tieflings even, genasi, humans, even the few speckering of some sort of elvish race. You see people who are very clearly not related, but they treat each other as though they were of the same blood. And it's that bonding, it's that closeness, that unity, and you begin to grasp, or really understand, why Esther is so. Because it is a place where everyone can belong. And as the night goes on and the sun sets, Esther raises her hands and goes, I can't remember anymore.
And at that point, some of the younger ones start to kind of try to tease out extra details. Usually of like funny people you met. If you'd mentioned the poet.
Yeah, I was about to say, Esther's gonna mention the fucking poet, that fucker.
Yep, they'll try to get details on his horrible speech. But by now it's not quite sunset, but it's approaching. Maybe about 3, 4 in the evening. Or afternoon, I guess. And as you're given a bit of time to kind of catch your breath, people go about their time to get food, get changed for the kind of afternoon dancing. You get the time to yourself. I think we're gonna take a quick 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
What?
Esther's going to go to Rosalind
Okay.
and just kind of pull her aside and go, I know the dancing is soon, and I spoke to you about the dancing, and I tried to show you. You did very well. Would you like to see the attire? Where?
Of course. Is this
And-
what you're going to be wearing?
It is most definitely what I will be.
Rosalind will like link her arm around Esther's and show me.
And Esther will lead her back into the tent, and there's a box far off in the corner, and it's kind of hidden with like a couple of the other bags and crates, and it's not very heavy, light, it's small, it's easily movable, and you've seen like a few carts and stuff like that kind of speckled around the camp that are probably used for stuff like this. And she'll pull it forward and just, these are belongings I left. when I left. She'll open it up, and inside are several odd knickknacks. There's a few kind of ripped up books, really old. Titles are oddly water stained. There are a few clothes, a toy that kind of looks like a howler but doesn't. It's a weird fucking amalgamation of limbs. Estelle could just kind of pick it up, look at it fondly, just hands it over and goes, "Don't ask me. I have no idea what this is." My grandmother made it for me. And I don't think she knew what it was either. She never spoke about the creatures she saw or people that she met or anything when she left and came back, but it's some sort of thing. I was going to give it to Jade, but that never happened. And she'll just kind of put it back. And then, she'll bring out this sash. It is the brightest orange you have ever seen. And it has got numerous bells and almost like coins. Out of character. You know, like belly dancer sashes?
Yes.
Yep. And she'll show it to Rob. She'll let her hold it, and it's heavy, but it's very weird. Like the fabric moves almost. It's like scent, very light, but it's the bell jingle, and it's almost mute the way that it does.
You're starting to break up a little bit.
Yep, you're kinda
It was
chopping in.
great when you were close to the mic.
How is this?
Yes.
Probably better.
Yes.
Okay.
ASMR in there.
So the sash is heavy, but the fabric kind of moves on its own and has bells.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So it's an interesting thing to hold. And Esther will dig a little deeper into the box, and she pulls out a red one. And she'll hand it to Rosalind and goes, "Usually you wear two, but you seem to be really fond of dancing. And I have no problems in giving you my second one."
You see the look on Rosalind's face. She is very touched by this.
Here, I'll show you how to put it on.
Thank you.
And you tie it around the waist, you knot it at the hip, and you tie it tight enough, obviously, so it doesn't go flying off. And Esther adjusts your knots, and she straightens it out. And it fits surprisingly well, considering the differences in your frames.
Mhm.
And Esther looks and goes, "Well, go on. Give your hips a little shake. See how it goes."
Rosalind tries. Yeah, she learned your dancing the other night. She'll probably tried something from that and hear the bells jingle.
And it's a very pretty sound. It is surprisingly melodic. It's almost as if, and you can imagine that if hundreds of these were all going at once, it would be something to hear. It would be powerful, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And Esther will kind of go through the trunk, and you see as she pulls out wristlets, actually. Little bracelets made of wood, and they also have these bells, these chimes on them, and she hands you two of them, and she puts on two, and you notice she's giving you half of all of the dancing attire that she has. She hands you half of the wristlets, half of the anklets, one of her belts, and eventually she stands, she closes the trunk, and she gives you a smile, and now you're set.
Of note, Rosalind's probably tried to take off her boots, but she's gonna be a little stumbly in the sand with or without them, probably. She's kind of picking up her feet and wincing occasionally. I might need to keep something on.
Oh.
And there are slippers, basically. little pieces of leather, almost like a leather sandwich. Just keep the bottom of the feet cool for non-genasi.
Esyther will help you kind of tie them on in a way so strenuous and sudden movement won't fucking make them fly off. And she's kind of laughing to herself as she does this. She goes, when I was younger, I used to wear these. And it eventually got to the point where I moved too fast and I couldn't wear them anymore because my toes would get stuck in the sand and then I'd fall on my face.
I really hope that doesn't happen to me tonight, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, I'm positive that you will be fine.
Thank you so much. She's gonna give Esther a big hug.
And Esyther hugs her fairly tight and just, when I was out there, when I am out there, I truly want you to know, when we are not in this tribe, and I was alone when I was out there, before I met all of you. It is a time that I'm not overly fond of. But after meeting all of you, I would like to make sure you know, you are the closest thing I have to a sister outside of my family.
You see Rosalind kind of rub a hand across her eyes. You know, I never really had sisters. Issa was as near as it ever came, and... well... I am very glad to have met you all. And added you to that number.
Well, if it's anything, quickly becoming one of my favorites. But don't tell Ash that. I think she will kill me, and I'm rather afraid that I can no longer throw her as far as she can throw me.
No, don't worry. I might not have had first-hand experience, but I've heard enough about siblings to know you never admit to one being the favorite.
And Esyther will extend her hand and just, come on, the music is going to start soon.
That's right. We have to grab Ashta first, don't we?
Oh, we certainly do. And from the trunk, Esyther doesn't pull out another sash. It's a belt. A leather belt. Still has the same chimes, stuff like that on it. And she holds it out and just gives it a once-over and goes, you think this will be big enough to fit around his armor?
I imagine we could make it work.
Regardless, I have rope. And I have fire. And I can just melt it on. And then we will make it fit.
Oh my.
Perhaps don't try to melt the highly
Belt.
enchanted
Oh,
armor
no!
for the belt.
The leather. The leather to the
Ah.
rope. I can melt the leather to the rope.
All right.
Yeah,
Little-
I thought you were gonna melt the belt to the armor. I was like,
No,
I
no,
don't
no.
think he'd appreciate that, and I think he'd probably shoot you first.
And
That would
she's
be a
gonna...
fun stealth check.
Oh, and she gives Rosalind just this wicked fucking look of mischief and goes, shall we go put the bells on the metal man?
Oh goodness.
I think that seems like a wonderful idea.
Oh goodness.
I want to see the sad man jingle. She drags Rosalind out of the tent.
Oh, they are both jingling. Ash just gonna hear them coming before he ever sees them.
The vague sense of dread becomes a more specific sense of dread.
And like a pair of cats with collars with bells on them. You stalk
And
the
I'm a
angry
fucking
angry
mouse.
man. And with that, we're gonna
Asta?
take a quick. Hold on. We're gonna take a quick 10-minute break. All right.
I noted this down as Esyther has bells. She wants to hear the shooty man jingle.
I want to hear the sad man jingle.
The sad shooty man jingle.
But we'll return 5 minutes to the hour.
Yeah.
Go attempt to bell the Ashta.
Yes.
Make him jingle.
Make him jingle. But yeah, no.
Good luck.
Service is having a fun time up on the ship, taking notes.
You're so much Ariel. Fuck.
Just
Hear
hear
the
those sleigh bells
Sleigh
jingle.
bells jingle. Oh yeah, that is literally. Yeah.
Fuck up.
See, Esther legitimately did not think that mentioning Aquarius was really important.
Yeah. I think it's probably more word might spread in a way, and also Aquarius is the only name we have for her, and it's obviously Zodiac, and yeah.
Esther would come
However-
up with the name.
Air Genasi girlfriend, great. Can't bring you to meet her, she is elsewhere right now, but we visit sometimes. Also okay. You can talk about, like, general personality stuff, and
I don't think you even need to go as far as Genasi, but maybe that's just the rich talking.
Just say, hey,
Look,
I have
there's
a
plenty-
significant other now.
there's plenty of Air Genasi in the
worry.
world.
There is actually.
I know, and we're currently touted as potentially harboring a very important one.
Yes.
She'd be like, oh, well, she's an Air Genasi, and she's very kind, she's rather athletic, and she's very proficient in fighting, and she
Like-
lives in Lucerne, and she'd lie through her fucking teeth.
Like my
She would-
like my worry isn't that it's like that the like someone from our tribe's gonna go off and tell. My worry is that someone who already has the details of Aquarius is gonna come up and look for anything.
No, I get that.
Yep.
But no, she would keep it extraordinarily vague, and in all honesty, Esther would come up with a name. She would not have ever gone out and said Aquarius, because the more people who know about Aquarius, the more people who are put in danger.
Actually,
If they know that
act-
she is connected to Aquarius, it could put her family in danger.
Actually, you could bring up that a similar thing to that as an excuse for not giving a lot of details. Maybe even not saying where she is, where she lives, or anything, because hey, we're at the forefront of a war, and you know, even to her family, even to her trusted tribe, she just doesn't want to say certain things out loud.
Just in case it could ever be used against her.
Yes.
Mm.
And she gets that. No, she would never have given Aquarius's info, like, ever.
Yeah, no, that'd probably be a bad idea.
And, speaking of that, curious, I want to bring Pyrrhus out.
Oh my god, no.
Why?
Oh, God.
But what is bad about it, though?
He's
has
our
no
best kept
relation-
secret thus far.
Yes.
But he has no relation to
It's-
anything. He's just a dragon.
Yeah, but he's
But they have no conception of a dragon.
it's
Exactly.
it's a thing of its unwanted and unneeded attention more than
Yes.
anything.
Oh, but
Yeah.
I feel bad keeping him cooped up in there all the time.
It's wanted attention for the player's side of things, though.
Yes. Take him out
So
on
I
the
can see the
island,
thing.
Give him a stroll. Like,
I mean, we
What
could
the hell?
probably at some point bring him out into the castle.
yeah.
And just let him roam in. As long as at some point we can let him out of that fucking hut.
Yeah, no,
assume-
like that.
I assumed he was already out in the castle.
Yeah.
You guys let him out time to time, but in general, he's kept cooped up. You guys never said otherwise, so.
Alright, we need to set up his lair formally in the castle basement caverns. Because it was discussed at one time, we just need to actually formally
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, because the worry about him isn't just the info in general. It's just him. Again, it's just like if we like start strolling out into any like large scale like settlement society, whatever. It's just attention.
Mm-hmm. Oh, if only we could, like, change his scale color.
Oh, to an evil color, or like a dragon's a dragon. Like gold is pretty high up there, but still, it's.
I mean, gold is pretty common in the desert.
Is it? I thought there was. I thought you said something about gold being like of particular note.
Yeah, compared to anywhere else. Sorry, okay. Compared to where else you find gold dragons, you see it mostly in the desert.
Really?
Okay.
It's still rare compared to most dragons. But for a gold dragon, a desert is pretty comfortable.
So it's less like gold dragons are common, and more if you had to find one in a place.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Because it's blue, gold.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure
and I
blue
want
is
to say
the.
brass that you see
Yeah.
in deserts.
I'm pretty sure blue is the biggest one.
Blue is the one most talked about because it's the evil dragons. It's the ones you fight.
Yeah. Well, by virtue of that, it's also the one you'll probably see the most.
Exactly.
I really want to say copper's in there, but I could be wrong. Maybe that's Rocklands.
And I don't know. For all we know, maybe Conrad's running with the gem dragons.
He could be doing something very different. So
Yep.
yeah.
No, I mean, according to standard D&D, I think copper also is decently common, but they're usually found around large settlements, and specifically in the Genasi Desert. None are consistently in one place often enough that it would find a good home.
They're not actual settlements.
Yeah.
They're like settle-ish.
They're not even subtle.
That's why I said settle-ish.
Also, quick question. Where's Ty?
They had to run.
Ah.
Okay.
They've been having some mic issues today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I heard them in the beginning and then not again. And I was like,
Yep.
I'll wait until the break to ask, but where the fuck is Tyler?
No need to draw more attention to it.
Yep. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, in terms of the dragon.
Poor Xenia's recovering.
Yeah.
Xenia's a puddle that we've collected in a bucket.
In a bucket, and Fervus is currently trying to like.
This is the castle.
Yeah,
Because-
castle. It's just kind of like they brought the bucket back to the. Trying to like reformat it.
Because of the Northerners, like Ashta is an armor, which is terrible, but he's also just fucking stubborn. But he also has like relatively short hair.
Yeah.
But Xenia has a lot of hair.
Yeah.
Like the back of the neck must be a fucking furnace.
Oh, fuck. Don't even.
Because she can't even like pin it up as well as like Rosalind because
Or
it's
Caius even.
it's
yeah.
so fucking voluminous.
Yeah, because Caius can easily go full man bun and just kind of like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't. I do not see that looking good on him, but
No, it doesn't. But it's, it's hot as fuck outside. He doesn't care how he looks at this point.
yep, fair enough.
We're all back.
He's like, dude, I'm cooking right now. I can't imagine how bad you feel. He says to Ashta, and Ashta's like, shut up, I don't feel that bad. It's just like,
If you don't mention it, it doesn't exist.
Ashta's had refrigeration recast on his armor every hour.
Yeah, I'm just gonna assume just like occasionally, like it just gets really cold in the armor and he just kind of like jumps for a second.
yeah, no, but before that, he's just like, Kai's just like, are you sure you're not like, you're okay? You look like you're kind of cooking that.
Shut
armor."
up.
And Kai's just like, shut up. And the Kai's like, you sure?
Refrigeration.
Refrigeration.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Is Conrad back or no? Because I thought I heard him. But
I think he was back, but he might not be now.
yeah, I'm muted again.
He was.
He said 5 after the hour, so
He was here.
Wasn't it 5
And
till?
now he gone.
Sorry, Char just came home, so I'm just discussing real quick with Char.
Okay.
Huh?
yeah, no problem.
No, I was poking at the wine.
Oh, he said 10 minutes oh no, maybe.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was just bored poking at it.
I said 5 to the hour.
It's
Just
not that bad.
discussing with Char.
I love how appropriate
good night.
the
I'll fix it.
I love how appropriate the Ashta
Alrighty.
commentary
Ready.
in the chat was. Sees Esther of the Chaos trio and Rosalind of the Chaotic Fate.
Send the
Paper
baby.
walk off. Vague sense of dread.
Maybe a quick mute this guy.
Yeah.
Alright.
She can't hear us.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Maybe just a quick move if you're having another conversation. That kind of overlaps with people having conversations.
Oh, apologies. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Just keep in mind.
It's all good. Alright. You guys okay to begin? Everyone back?
Yep.
John here?
Johnny there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Alright, good.
Let's pay off Ashta's vague sense of dread.
Yes. So, how are the Chaos 2 or the Red Barons, as we can also put it,
We are the Red Barons.
going about assaulting the Ranger.
Baronesses, come on.
Fairness.
It don't matter, brother.
Gonna
Technically,
send
one's a Duchess. Sort of.
out. Not quite.
All right, lady, right?
Regardless.
Gonna send Thorn first to fly up to a tent within Ashta's eyesight, like perch on the top, and just stare at him until he looks in that direction, which would be the opposite direction from which Rosalind and Esther would approach. So, distraction, part 1.
I think that's a fucking stealth roll against his passive right there, is what
really
you're
is.
saying.
It really is. I'm just trying to stack things in our favor as much as possible.
Might
So-
I add, Esther is also, as they creep forward, I'm sure some of her siblings are milling about.
Oh, also, Rosalind is doing the levitate in order to cut down as much as she can on the jingling, which probably isn't much, but at the very least, there won't be the solid thump of feet.
Also, are not all of you wearing jingling things?
Oh yeah,
We are.
we are.
Yep,
This is
okay,
gonna be
so-
disadvantaged regardless. I'm just seeing if there's any way to add bonuses.
So
I will say-
your DC is a passive 18.
Oh god.
Caius could be full on dissociating. He could probably hear you.
Sorry, wait, what, is passive 8 or 10? I forget sometimes.
It's 8.
It's 8, yeah. So you've got a DC 18.
No, sorry, it's
No.
it's 10.
10
My
plus.
Oh,
your-
yeah, okay, yeah, that's... Okay, it's DC 20.
I could
Oh,
make
yeah.
that, but probably not at disadvantage.
Yeah, it's...
Also, if Esther sees any of her siblings milling about, she's going to signal to them just to come on. Come help.
Which, go ahead and just give me a luck roll for Esther.
What do I roll? Just a d20?
Actually, give me a D100. I want to see what kind of weird shenanigans you come up with.
Fuck. Well, that's depressing.
More howlers show up.
Don't.
Or Howler show. Could you imagine?
Guess we forgot a few.
Well,
So,
Shit.
you see, as you ask them to distract Ashta, you see the two young ones get this evil look on their face as
I
Cole
love
and
this
Garnet
almost.
turn to each other.
Don't like this.
And you see Cole lift a bowl, and you see Garnet lift a bowl. And they both look towards Jazz, and Jazz just smiles.
Oh dear.
Ashta,
Welcome to giving Ashta fucking Vietnam flashbacks part 2.
Pretty much.
so Ashta, you see as Jazz first comes up to you, Jasmine, Esther's mom. She kind of walks up to you as you're standing by the food table, and can I ask a favor?
There's this look of apprehension on his face.
The little ones are cooking their own little homemade meal, and I don't want to tell them that it's probably not going to be very tasty, but I also don't want any of their older siblings to make fun of them, so could you taste it instead?
You want me to be the bad guy?
No, just let them know that it's not to your taste, because you're not from here.
You want me to be the bad guy?
You seem so good at it.
You can at least be forward with your intentions.
You don't need to say that it's not tasty. I just don't want their siblings to make fun of them for it not being tasty. You can pretend like it's good if you want. Are you okay with eating it? I don't know if it would be any good. It might be very spicy.
And just kind of blinks in size. Is he catching on any ulterior motives here? Or... Cause he's been warned about Esther's mom, yeah.
You know the mum is generally seen as pretty upstanding, especially compared to the rest of that family.
Yeah, but Esther warned him.
family.
Esther warned him that she might want to fight him.
Yeah, this doesn't seem very combative.
She would have been
She
honest.
seems relatively genuine.
What?
And he kind of has this mixed look, and it's like, I don't know. I'm probably just gonna make them feel bad.
They're not going to be offended if you don't like it. I don't expect any of the people who aren't from here to like any of the food here, honestly. If not, it's okay. I just wanted to ask. And just you see in the distance the two of them carrying a massive cauldron of a bowl over towards their mother from across the camp.
I'll give a taste if you're here with me.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a taste too.
How spicy are we talking?
I don't know. I didn't watch them cook it, but they did seem to use some meat. So usually we don't put as much spice on the meat. Doesn't need as much flavoring, you know.
I feel like I can make no assumptions here.
That's also probably fair.
You go first.
Sure. And as she kind of turns with the cauldron is placed down in front of it, it's weird. Most of the food here is either red, orange, or brown.
Mm.
This is blue.
Ah.
Oh my god.
That's not
I'm
good.
thinking like
That's-
purple or blue. Which is it?
No, it's blue. Until they start to until they start to mix it, and then it turns brown again, and they stop mixing it, and it turns blue again. And as they
That's-
pour, as they take like a ladle and start filling a bowl with it, it's almost like a scintillating back and forth of color between the two. And they hand one bowl to their mom with like a big cheeky grin, and one bowl to Ashta.
So like that gasoline kind of shine.
Kind of. It's a bit more one and the other, not so much a in between.
Oh dear.
But think if you had like a oil and water, except the water was very blue and the oil was very brown.
All right.
As Mom kind of smiles, she takes like a basically skips using his utensil and just like sips it like the milk in a cereal. And she kind of looks down at them with most of a smile. Even your passive insight is enough to be like, okay, she looks a little bit uncomfortable.
She's not happy.
She's not happy, but she's able to put on a brave face for it, and she swallows it and takes another sip of it and doesn't seem to react too poorly to it and just goes, "Here, Ashta, you try."
And he mentally steals himself.
Go for it.
I'm sharing like protection from good and evil. Maybe. Really resist much poison.
Yes, we can, Rosalind.
It might get all over us and him and everything. And that's
Yep.
what
I don't care.
prestidigitation's for. Never mind. Carry on.
I was gonna say yes, we can, Rosalind.
Yes, we can.
If he's by the food spot, he'll take a spoon.
Yep, and you do, and it's very thin, the food, but you can use a spoon if you'd like.
Yep, and just kind of like he's kind of has he tries for a smile, but it's his weird like trying to smile.
He looks
Um,
like Iowa.
Yeah, and he's just like, well, I've never really tasted this kind of thing. I'm new to your kinds of foods. And he
Oh,
goes
that's
and
okay. We made it special for you.
he gives a look. It's like, do you know many cooks from outside of your tribe?
Well, no, but we tried.
All right, we'll see. And he pauses, and he takes it. He tries it.
All right. No con save or anything.
Roll a poison check.
It's really weird. You know the half spicy at Hot Pot?
Mm-hmm.
Think that mixed with blueberry jam.
Uh,
It's not good. It's not bitter. It's not painful. The sweetness actually does cut down on the spice a lot. It's real weird though.
so it's like a mouthful of blueberry juice and then like a mouthful of spicy soup at once.
Yeah. And there's no mixing of the flavors.
They're just there.
They're just there.
Hmm.
And it sticks to your tongue. It like coats it.
He does the thing where he like kind of like drags his front teeth across his tongue.
And you can actually feel like slight curls of whatever it is unpeeling from your tongue as you do so.
Oh, fuck. That's so gross.
Not skin, it's just like the stickiness of like it's almost like taffy.
Mm.
And they go, "Come on, was it good? Do you want more?"
He thinks for a second, goes,
They're giving you the biggest puppy dog look right now too.
yeah. He kind of like puts a hand to his chin and is just like, it's not quite what I'd say is something I usually taste, but it's a halfway between your food and ours.
Really? Here, let's add the extra ingredient. And they toss in an extra, like, some kind of root of some kind, and they start mixing it, and it turns to just a stark violet.
And he goes like, okay, now I have to know what the secret ingredient is.
We don't know, but it's a cool root that one of the traders sold us.
Under in what context?
Well, we wanted to find a special ingredient for food, and we asked a little while ago, but I think it was 2 weeks ago, we asked if they had any special ingredients that we could use to make a meal extra tasty no matter who ate it. Because we wanted to serve it to Mum, but also some of the older ones don't like spicy as much, so we made sure they wanted to get something that's not super spicy. And they keep going on this like tiny rant, at which point, too, you can begin sneaking up. I will say it mitigates the the disadvantage due to the rambling of a child.
Okay. So straight stealth roll.
Straight stealth rolls.
Oh dear.
18.
Oh fuck.
I think this is a 19, right?
Is it 20?
His passive is 20.
Oh god
Is it-
damn!
Yeah, that's.
Oh,
you get so
Fane or
close.
no.
Oh, Fane doesn't apply to this. Yeah, I don't think
Fuck.
we're gonna be rolling very much better than that anyway.
Fuck.
So how does that mean we get really, really close though before
Oh,
the
yeah,
jingle
you-
catches his ear?
Yeah, so you guys actually get up to him and basically go to reach the belt around him as he's looking towards the children. Unfortunately, a couple of the bells on the belt you're putting around him clank against his armor. Rosalind, as you are basically like both arms around him, like halfway through putting it on him.
Bonus action disengage.
The belt is still basically around your waist. You'd have to like push either through it or underneath her arms somehow.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not gonna blame you. It's gonna be a gut reaction instinct.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're wrapping something around him from behind.
Yep.
Esther fucking.
He
Esther
might
just-
jerk his head back in a headbutt.
I'd assume you guys are about waist level, such that
Yeah, we're kind of
Yeah.
we're kind of ducked a little.
so you
It's sneaky
flick your head back to
position.
kind of like push back against it and just come up with air.
You might.
Okay,
his
good.
back might
And in
bump
that
into us.
moment.
Yeah.
And in that moment of him butting his head back
That-
and realizing
I
he did
meant to-
nothing,
I meant it as an attempt for him to escape, but okay.
it's not. It doesn't work.
As
It's
you
the belt.
again, they're crouched down at about waist level, so trying to headbutt backwards doesn't do anything.
Okay, no, I just meant it as flavor for he tries to get out, like...
I'm doing this in a way such that no one gets hurt.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Just, can he attempt anything here, or does he just fail because of the way I phrased it?
Well, let's see what Esther does first. Your initial thing is to push your head back. This is happening very quickly, so. So Esther, what were you doing?
Basically just grabbing the end that Rosalind had and fucking tying it.
Okay, roll me a disadvantage sleight of hand check.
Yeah,
fuck.
he's moving fast. Tying
Yeah.
takes time.
So Ash, after you push your head back and don't feel anything, and you feel like a second pair of arms go around your waist, what are you doing?
Have they latched onto him, or are they just around him?
You can see two sets of arms. At least one is like midway around you, and the other is like almost completely around you. Almost
But are they
about-
You can hear
gripping?
laughing.
Fuck.
You can hear laughter.
you can hear laughing and
Rosalind is
jingling.
giggling.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But are they gripping him, or are they like just
no,
kind of
it-
around?
It's
Around.
It's around. It's not. It's
All
not
right.
grip.
He goes straight up in the air.
All right. So, Esther, as you go to wrap the belt around you, like try to do a very quick. He shoots up in the air at the exact same time, and you tighten it just around his ankle.
Well, better than what she expected.
And Ash, as you shoot up in the air, you feel it like a trailing on your foot and extra weight, like something's grabbing at your foot.
Uh-oh.
It's also very jingly.
All right. Can he basically shake his foot to get out of it?
Yeah, go for it. Just roll
Acrobatics?
yeah, either acrobatics or athletics.
23.
Yeah, so you shake it off your foot to the giggling of children below you, as well as the giggling of the not so young children of Rosalind and Esther.
Rosalind's gonna try to catch the thing as it falls.
Yep, and you do easily enough. It falls pretty slow. As from the kids' perspective, they saw the arms reach around as two not so stealthy ladies come up behind you and started to wrap it around you, and you shot up in the air like a cork out of a bottle.
Ashta, it's just us. Calm down.
That is nothing to dissuade my concerns.
The kids are just on the ground rolling at this point.
Rosalind just holds up the belt
Ashta.
and jingles it at him.
Relax, you big baby.
He
It's just a
touches
belt.
down about 70 feet away from them.
Okay, I need you to realize how far 70 feet away is.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. That is like across the camp.
Yes.
Okay, good.
like if they're anywhere near like the outside, he like goes outside of the camp such that they can see him. But
Ashta,
You're pretty
Come
central
back!
by the food table.
we can catch you.
Ashta, come back. It's just a belt, you baby.
then why did you feel the need to sneak it on me?
Because when have you ever put on anything that attracts attention?
There we
Really?
go, and he flies off.
Where are you flying
Alright.
off to?
Rosalind immediately casts fly on herself and Esther.
Alright.
We've got a 60-foot flying speed for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Let's
Okay,
book it.
Ash is rocking at 90 casually.
Yeah, well, not casually, because you're
No.
dashing as you do that.
Yeah,
Their dashing is at 120.
yeah.
No, he's no,
You've got a 30-foot fly speed. You dash as an action, a bonus action, and your movement, so that makes 90.
good point.
Yep.
We've got 60 and 60, which is 120.
They've also got
Alright.
10 times the duration.
You have 70 feet on us, but we're gonna catch up.
So as you guys do a strange aerial dance, and inevitably Rosalind and Esther will catch up.
Yep. At that point,
Um,
it's just a case of one of us actually getting the belt on you, or holding on to you and slowing you down, or little
Okay.
bugger.
As you cast haste, and I assume they have to recast the wings to get the extra time.
Yep.
At the end of the minute, you freeze up, and they've still got 8 more minutes of flight.
Yeah, but he's got a lead.
He's got a lead.
Are we calculating?
again,
this?
Even if you used all of your wings and all of your spell slots for haste, you still wouldn't be able to outhaste them.
I'm curious on the math of that, but
They have 10 times the fly speed. Oh, sorry, 10 times the duration. You have a potential of 4 minutes, they have 10. Even if you touch down, eventually got a land speed, with the slowdowns you would get of haste, even with the extra movement, by the end of the 7th or 8th minute, they would eventually catch up to you.
Let's calculate this real quick. Ashta with haste and the dashes and
yeah,
30
because he
foot,
gets
so
4 dashes a turn.
4 dashes
I
a
don't
turn
wanna
at
do
double speed.
math.
Yep.
4 dashes? 3 dashes.
No,
He gets
because
he gets
the
some
haste
action.
action.
Ah, yes. Okay. So 60 times 4 per turn times.
So 360
10.
times a minute.
Hang
So
on.
3,600 feet.
How did you get 360? I got 240. Hold on. Clear.
Oh, dear.
60
Baby on
times 4. 240.
So anyway.
Oh, 240, sorry,
so
Times
two-
10.
10.
Out.
So
2400.
2,400 feet.
Meanwhile, 120 times 100, 12,000.
Okay, so basically
So
we win.
multiply his by 4, though, because he would get that 4 times. He would eventually get to 10,000, just under. And I think it's like 96.
Here's this. He will kind of start to touch down at the end of his first haste. To save this in math. So he's got a lead.
Yes. You also, at the end of your first haste, freeze up for an entire turn.
Yeah, it's one turn. Yep.
And then you get a second minute of haste.
Is Caius back? I thought
No,
Caius was
he
still
doesn't re-up haste. He's just on the ground.
Okay.
Real quick.
Caius
Caius-
was back. Caius was
Oh,
back
okay.
to give the aloe.
Yeah.
I'm not overcommitting spells to this bit.
Either way.
You're not making me cast a regeneration because Percy got his arm ripped off, okay?
No, that was hilarious. No, but the short of it is, unless you've got some fancy trick that's not speed, they catch up to you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and he touches down and he's just basically kind of waiting there.
Okay.
As they approach. And
As
he's-
they
he-
rocket towards you.
Yep, and he just kind of looks up like, "Stop."
But why?
Because if you want me to go along with this smoothly, you'll take a second and calm yourself.
Esther just kind of look. What do you think?
Honestly, the fun was in all of this.
That is true.
That's
but
why he stopped.
She'll set down on the sand, and just kind of hold the belt out on an open hand.
It's tradition to wear them.
And he tilts his head. It's like, okay, you're gonna have to. I'm actually giving you a chance to convince me of this. So far, tradition has gotten that kid up on the castle right now. So if you got better reasons, I'm open to hear them.
That's not tradition.
That's what they said it was.
Some of these.
My point is, I'm not taking that as a reason.
and I'm going to explain it to you. But in Fervis's case, unfortunately, his choosing was not done proper. It is a very intricate ceremony. It is very hard to mess up. But due to a lot of corruption, his experience with tradition has gone awry. I could explain to you as to why the bells are worn, why the chimes are worn, if you'd like.
My point is, tradition is not something that convinces me.
How's this?
I understand the bit behind it.
How about this then? It's a kind gesture from Esther, as a friend. And I'm sure it would make her happy if you wore them.
And he kind of like slowly nods, like, I put a quotation marks on kind gesture when you try to sneak up on me like you're trying to kidnap me.
Oh, that part wasn't a kind gesture, that was a prank.
And for fun.
It's part of the whole thing.
Ah.
I understand
Regards-
that. I don't get how you feel like this is separate, but I understand the second point you make, and I'm willing to go with it. And then he walks forward and he takes the belt.
We flew rather far from camp, didn't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
It probably looked fantastic from the ground.
However, we still have some minutes, don't we?
Ashta doesn't. I'll have to recast the spell.
Well,
Or we could head up to the castle for a bit. He says, kind of like scratching the back of his head.
We're not
I
that
need to go
far,
back.
And I believe that the rest of the celebration is about to happen, so
Oh, like right
Rosalind's
now?
going to go ahead and recast fly on all three of them so that they can fly back. With speed.
Bro, can you, like, not dig a hole in my bed?
Talking to the dog.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I'm, like, watching her. She's fucking fumbling around on the pillow.
Alright. And he just starts walking. He's like, okay, so what exactly does this do?
Well, when you move and when you dance, it sounds the chimes and the charms, and it's basically, in the most basic sense,
A
of
stealth
calling.
compromise.
No.
It's music, and Rosalind's going to put out her hands and do a little hop step. And just ching ching ching.
Oh. Okay.
Oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm
Don't
reading the
worry.
chat. And just fucking, I had two signs with minor telekinesis doing their best to run around the camp naked, and I was pregnant.
Oh boy.
That is a memory. Esther is very fun. But despite the obvious reason, it's music, it's dance, it's a calling. When we dance, it's a calling to the elements, to the earth, to the fire, to water, to air, to everything that makes, well, everything. It's a calling to Om, to magic, and to the weave, to show that we are connected, even if there are those of us who aren't particularly gifted in magic. That's what it's for.
I usually don't call any gods unless it's a declaration of war, but
It's not overly a god. It's a-
Ashton, go ahead and roll me a history check on that one, or religion check, your choice.
sure. 14.
Okay. It's the same concept as the idea of worshiping the earth by taking care of it, and honoring the earth by using every part of the animal. It's Ariella bother rolling. He has a plus 11. She rolled a 9.
Never mind.
It's less of an honoring of it itself. It's let's honor this power and try to become a part of it, and respect the power that it has. It's not asking for any favors or asking it for any kind of blessing. It's just to celebrate being one of a natural and wonderful world.
Yeah, like looks at the belt as they're walking, as they're floating, I guess, and it's just like, not something directly in my wheelhouse. So give it a try, though.
I appreciate it. You know,
Go ahead.
that was the first, well, I suppose the name for them is difficult to translate, but dance attire? The best word I can come up with? Well, I suppose jingle sash, too, but that kind of sounds a little stupid now that I said it out loud.
Most things do.
Regardless, that was the first one I was ever given.
He holds it up. This one.
Yeah.
Well, you guys is like confused. It's like, okay, why are you giving it to me then?
Because I gave Rosalind mine. It's only fair that I give you mine as well.
She's willing to take it much more so.
Well, I suppose you wouldn't have been as, welcoming of one of these, and she gestures to her sash and the anklets and the bracelets, and this is one that is given to younger kids. It is more sturdy. It is less easy to break. It's simple because it is the stepping stone to opening yourself up to the way of movement and dance. And as you get older, you're given more elaborate pieces as a sign you're growing up. Honestly, I just figured you'd like this one because it's a bit more plain.
Mm.
But I suppose it also could be that you're learning to embrace an environment that is not familiar to you. If you want to get all sentimental, which I know you don't.
Yeah, like friendship is like, I don't know about embrace, but
I rather think that he can be very sentimental at times.
Oh, but he doesn't want to admit he's a sweetheart.
That's true.
I also don't stand by lies.
That
And
you're a
yet-
sweetheart or
and
that you're
yet
sentimental?
you are-
Yes.
And yet you are constantly putting on a brave face for things that you find uncomfortable.
I haven't the slightest idea what you're talking about.
And
There you
always
are
taking
again.
the bullet.
Mhm.
Always making sure that we're safe and cared for, that we're cautious, and making sure that our best interest is always looked after. Oh
What's a
no.
bullet? He says, trying
An
to deflect
arrow.
the situation.
Face it, Ashta. You may put on that stony face, but underneath all that, and she'll knock on the armor, hard metal, you're a softie.
You hear distantly from inside your armor. Well, yeah, that's why he wears the metal.
Flesh is easier to pierce than steel.
You know that's not what we meant.
Oh, he knows.
He's just
an
like walking and
asshole.
like not making eye contact. It's like, no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, but your thick skull isn't.
Rayla, dear, I adore you so much.
She's inside the armor being walked away with him.
Oh, we're following.
Yep. Yeah. He's just he just tries to get ahead so that he's not making direct eye contact. Do
Mhm.
And when you
you
enter
have any
the
tiny bells for the tiny one?
unfortunately, no. I don't believe so. But given time, I can probably craft something.
It's alright. I probably shouldn't be hurt anyways. By the way, Rosalind,
Yes?
could we get double down on the cold air in here?
One moment, and she catches up with Ashta, gives him a pat on the shoulder, and whoosh.
You're free to sit on the shoulder, you know.
Do you know how hot metal gets when it's in the sun all day?
So you'd rather sit inside it?
There's air conditioning in here.
Going easy on a cripple. Oh my god.
Another chat.
When you enter the camp, Ashta, you'd notice Cole and Garnet both seem to be wearing, obviously smaller, versions of the belt that you are wearing.
And as well, you can see Ashes doing their best to uh, shake their hips in a way that make the jingle go, but without like overbalancing every time. And you see the Kryana showing her how to kind of do it properly, and the kids are just doing their best to copy her movements with not even a third of the grace.
Well, I suppose it's time for the face paint, too. I don't...
The what?
You see
Markings.
Kryana turn to face you, Ashton, and her face is marked up very similar to almost like a facsimile of a lion's face. And she just like grins at you, and she actually has like little pointed fangs as inside her mouth as well, and goes, "Finishing the costume."
You know.
Oh, we can make it simple. We'll just give you a fancy little mane of a lion you can put around your neck.
Oh, no, we should give him a headdress. That's what we
What?
should give him.
How about the tail of a tiger and just attached to his armor?
Ooh, I like that idea.
Ashley like glances over with this dead look.
And Esther's gonna look right back.
Looks
You
kinda
don't scare me
adorable.
with those beautiful eyes.
I'm just telling you, you got this belt on me by the skin of your teeth.
Yikes.
You,
Or
you
like
see,
this-
I was surprised they went out and got the belt.
see the two little ones kind of like look at each other for a second, Ashta, and then they both turn to you with like hands together and just goes, "Please, Mr. Ashta, I know that you don't like it.
You know,
but
I'm surprised
it'd be
that you
very
put them
nice."
on me in the first place, man.
Oh, they're giving you the fucking guilt trip, dude.
Out of
Yeesh.
curiosity, are felines the only options?
You see Kryana just like looking back and forth and just like, "They're the only ones that I know how to do."
I
Fair enough.
can do several. I had to do them a lot for children.
Yeah, brag about it, sure.
I'll
I
go
am
with-
going to brag about
I'm
it.
gonna look over at Ashta, look between Ashta and Esther. I wouldn't suppose a wolf would be somewhere on that list.
Kryana looks at
Surprising.
you and just goes, "What's a wolf?"
For them, they wouldn't know, but for me, I've seen a fair few. I
I'll-
can.
Rosalind
just-
makes a little illusory wolf on the palm of her hand.
And immediately there's two little cries of, "Oh, doggy!"
Very
Sorry,
much.
Ashton. You were saying?
I'll just go with the main thing. Scarf, whatever.
Perfect. You see Kryana like reach into a bag, which her arm goes way deep, and it's probably a bag of holding of some kind, and she pulls out a surprisingly well-crafted and rather comfortable-looking mane of a lion, to be put around like the up to about the crown of the skull, and goes around beneath the chin.
Oh, I thought he's like I thought that would just be like a around the neck thing.
You can put it down. It's almost like a hood.
Sure. Does so.
And just like puts it on top of your head, and you can adjust it as needed.
As he's doing so, it's like, you ever get the feeling that everything is an elaborate ruse and no one's actually doing the things that they say they do? They're just doing it to mess with you.
Nope, because I'm usually the one who does those ruses.
It's kind
Right,
of part
so
of her job. And Esther looked at Crine and just, do you still have my box of paints?
I do. They've been used up quite a bit, but there's probably still enough.
Is there still the gold with that?
We should have some, and that one's pretty easy to make. I'm sure I can get more.
Alright. And she'll look to Rosalind and just, I already have my idea. What do you want to be?
You know what? Surprise me.
That I can certainly do. And she'll look
I
to
trust-
Caius,
I
who's,
trust you entirely with this.
Who's
And she'll
arm
also-
wrestling with Jasmine.
yeah, who's wrestling my mother, and just, Caius,
Yeah?
do you want a costume for the dancing?
Man, I already have my gear.
You know what? That'll suffice.
Asha looks
And
over.
then
Is Kai's wearing the belt?
Yes, he is. And Jasmine just puts up her hand like, "Oh no, it won't," and she grabs you by the chin, Caius. And she just like
Oh, dear.
points her head one way or the other and goes, "So what would you rather, an eagle or a mouse?"
Asha like walks over slightly.
mouse.
He saw them wrestle arm wrestling when they came in, right?
Yeah.
He goes, "How about yeah, I'd say a mouse, considering The only
Guys did
reason his arm has so much strength is because of the belt he's wearing, and he just kind of like pats him on the shoulder.
Thanks,
Yep.
buddy. Thanks, buddy.
I knew there was something to that. You're shaped like a... Definitely a mouse then, and she like basically takes the top of your head, fluffs your hair, and after a second you touch the top of your head and you can feel a little like headband with two little ears on it.
Oh god.
Ah.
Yeah.
And she just starts like painting your face and just holding your head in place.
And
Just
Esther,
like smooshing the cheeks.
Yep.
Surprisingly, not the worst gimmick he's had.
for fuck's sake.
I'm the mouse man. I eat garbage.
I eat cheese.
I eat cheese.
And Esther will take Rosalind over to the side and she'll kind of pull out her paints. And Kryno is right. There have been a lot used, but there's enough. And, slowly but surely, she, give me an idea, Ariel. What kind of thing do you think Rosalind?
Oh god, I don't know. Are they all animals? I'm getting that sense.
Yeah.
Definitely animals. Like the only animal she's ever really been associated with, if you want to call it that, would be Thorn. I know, not technically an animal, but other than that,
Consider
maybe
trying
like
to be an animal.
maybe like some kind of cat, but I have no ideas.
I have an idea. Okay.
Okay.
So, she takes some very, like, brightly colored, almost iridescent looking sort of paints. You can see there are things kind of crushed up in the paint to sort of make it shimmer.
Mhm.
And she goes to work painting your face and doing all that. And when she's done, she goes, just wait a quick second. I have to go grab something. And she runs into the tent. And when she comes back, she's got almost these pieces of wire in a or no, sorry, she got her rope, and then she has this fabric, and she looks and she goes, it's an old cloth I had way back when. It'll work. And she starts to cut it up, and she kind of mends it to the cloth, to the rope, and she ties the rope in 2 circles around your wrist, each wrist, and lets it fall across your back. She goes, open your arms and tell me what you think.
Alright, Rosalind opens her arms. What does it look like from what she can see? Is there a mirror or anything?
And yeah, there'll be something of the by reflection of something. And you see that the cloth is cut almost like wings. And you see your face is painted insect-like. And
Okay.
it's almost, kind of like a dragonfly.
Okay. Yeah. Just a little bit fey with a dragon. I was almost thinking butterfly for a second, then it was like, oh, okay.
I thought you were just gonna fuck with her and make her a cockroach.
No, I'm not an asshole, you dick.
That would have been so funny though.
Ah,
So, is it alright?
it's certainly different, but I really like the wings. She
Well, I
kinda
thought-
flaps her arms a little bit and the bangles jingle.
I thought, bugs seem to like roses. A dragonfly's the thing to a dragon you can think of, so. Oh, shoot, I have to get mine done. And she takes out gold paint and black, and she starts almost like scales.
Yes, I had a feeling.
And it eventually covers her entire face, neck, even going so far as to put patches on her arms, legs, her stomach, which is bare. She has put on something almost kind of like a sports bra, and it shows off the main center of her soldar on her stomach. And the teeth that she's collected from so long ago, she manages to stick to her forehead, almost like 2 big horns on each side of her forehead, as well as little ones just above her eyebrow. And you see, it's almost kind of looking like Pyrrhus.
Yes.
Alright.
I have this vague
Yeah.
mental image of like Esther like paints the sand and then just face plants into it and it's done.
Give me either a
Is that crazy?
dexterity
Yeah.
check or a charisma check to see how well you do each.
Charisma. Can I have advantage because she's done?
It's a lower DC because you've done this before.
Yeah.
Oh!
Alright.
15.
Saving throw is same as the check for you, so yeah. It's pretty beautifully done. At some point, the young ones ask to help out, and they basically attach like almost this glitter-like stuff to the cheeks and the major of the scales to help them kind of shimmer as you finish applying the horns on top.
And Esther's gonna look at the little ones and go, would you like to see a neat trick?
Sure.
You know that fire breathing thing?
I
she's
knew you were
got?
gonna do it.
Oh, yes.
She's gonna take in a deep breath, give Rosalind a wink, face the sky, and just fucking fire breath up into the sky.
The kids' pupils are like quarters.
It's like those pictures of cats in the Christmas trees where it's all pupil and sparkling lights inside.
Correct.
Yep.
And she's gonna cough a little bit, and the breath fucking smoke comes out, and just look and go, so how's that for a dragon?
When did you figure out how to do that?
It is a long story. I
You had all
would
day to
love-
tell stories.
Well, it's a story, I drank a potion. It ended up being the right potion, but I ended up owing somebody a lot of money. And I
She
had
was
to
in
go-
debt.
I was in debt.
Hello,
We're gonna
Ashton.
drink so many potions.
No, that's not the lesson from this.
But you could breathe fire.
The lesson is to make sure you know what you're drinking.
But you could breathe fire.
I'm not good at telling this lesson, am I? Chip.
Let me put it this way. Esther didn't know what she was drinking. It might have been that she only breathed fire one time and never again.
Breathing fire one time is still cool.
Or it might have been that she was very, very sick for a while and didn't breathe fire at all.
Yeah, but being sick goes away, but you can breathe fire. Roll a persuasion check versus child.
Oh dear lord, you're gonna
Both of you.
lose. Oh dear.
So 16. That's low for me.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yikes.
Can Esther roll mom?
But yeah, if you could have, if you had asked before.
Fuck, I was gonna say, because lecturing a kid and being like, okay, yeah, I did something stupid, but you don't fucking do something stupid.
True, but with your sibling, it's a lot harder to do.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
You gotta have a sister check.
The sister check is always a disadvantage, unfortunately.
Hmm.
But yeah, they seem. They don't look like they're about to drink everything they see. But they're still pretty into the idea of it.
What
You
have
see
you done?
now that they start doing each other's makeup, and it gets refined by Kryana and Esther. As Garnet goes as what seems to be a kind of owl, like a desert owl. And Cole simply goes as a flaming piece of rock.
Okay, but what is his paint?
Exactly.
He doesn't sit still long enough to be able to be painted.
Correct. He basically gets a black powder thrown in his face, and then
Yeah.
they just light it on fire.
Yeah,
Esther gets annoyed because he won't sit, goes second, grabs some black powder and just fucking yeet. Congrats, now you are a piece of...
And he takes a little bit of orange and red mixed together and draws like charcoal, like throughout over the face and over the nose.
And
Okay, good. It's just it's not nothing but.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, just.
I know.
And now you are a piece of charcoal.
I'm gonna go light things on fire.
Be careful and don't get caught.
He smiles and like gives you a high five and runs off, and you see Garnet chase after him, and Kryana just, why would you? Okay.
Oh, because we didn't do that at their age.
He kind of just sighs, and you see Jasmine hobbling after them, like, hey, you little shits!
We did so much worse at their age.
Yes,
You-
and we were terrible.
Do you remember when we rigged the High Guardian's tent to collapse in the middle of the night?
Yes, and do you remember that I was the one who got us two hidden and let him take the fall?
See.
I mean, to be fair, Molotov was always the slowest.
Exactly. They only have two of them. They don't have anyone who's slow to take the hit for it. We're at fault.
Oh shit, you're right.
Smacks him in the back of the head. Let's go celebrate.
Yeah.
And as you guys head to the center, where the dancing has already begun, you can see that, despite the fact that many people are injured, and a lot of the injuries are in legs, there's crutches everywhere, there's prosthetics, very simple ones, all over. People are dancing and having a good time. A lot of those who have leg prosthetics and arm prosthetics have taken the bells and woven them kind of through and as pieces of the wood that's mostly made out of. And they incorporate into the dance as best they can. The sound is, despite the fact that there's so many bells and so many people at the same time, there's still a very consistent rhythm and pattern to it. As you can see, just two people playing simple instruments. One's basically a set of drums, and another one is playing what looks to be vaguely a harp, except they're using a bow on it. It's almost like a semicircular violin top. Not sure how to describe that properly. Think like a cello, but horizontal.
Like a fat violin,
Kind of.
but
Yeah.
with a lot of strings.
Yeah, kind of. And it's simple, but it's energetic. And as you see Esther begin to approach, they kind of all make a circle around her and join her in as part of the dancing. Caius in the distance, pair of mouse ears on top of his head.
Yeah, Caius lost most of his dignity like 7 years ago. He's not fazed by any of this.
Yep. And as the dancing starts to incorporate Esther, you each are welcomed in as part of the circle.
Rosalind absolutely drags Ashton. She promised.
I was gonna say.
She said
Yep.
she was gonna. There was a threat. There was a promise. Call it what you
It's not just Rosalind. They're all reaching out for you, Ashta.
Horrifying. Back, you savages!
He doesn't take kindly to positive perfection.
Oh, God.
Nope.
Does it help if, like, familiar faces are there first?
It makes it not mortifying, I imagine.
Yeah, he's the hand to the crossbow goes from like 80% to 60% before it comes back down.
And go ahead and have each of you roll performance checks. Caius and Ashta with disadvantage.
Wait,
God
why?
damn!
30!
There's
Damn
nothing I
it.
can do with Dex here.
Is this
I'll say
with
you can
a-
substitute
rolling
Dex
disadvantage?
for Charisma if you'd like.
Can Esther
Alright.
have advantage?
You don't even need to make the roll.
Ha.
honestly.
Yes.
Yes.
At disadvantage for me?
Yeah, because this is a dance you have never done before.
Oh.
That's 19 with a dropped 20.
Damn it,
Oh
character's
my
just being
God.
slow.
Alright. To start, Rosalind, you take those lessons and you kind of take the energy of the night and seeing so many people around you all doing it kind of in their own ways. They're all in their own individual situations. And you just grab Esther and just start dancing alongside her, following as best that she goes. And y'all kill it.
Oh my god.
Tear up the dance floor.
Caius.
As Ashta and Caius serve as the most wonderful backup dancers you've ever seen.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
He's doing his best to keep it contained and low profile, but
Ashta somehow manages to find a way to get the clanking of the armor, as soft as it is, to work in time with the jingling of the bells. And Caius just... He's got this, like, natural grace to the way he moves, as well as this natural showboatmanship.
Yeah.
So this is not the most unheard of thing for him to do, and as he takes part of the dancing, and you guys dance into the night, fire in the big center of the pit, roaring wildly as people keep feeding it different modicums of fuel. Yes, very Charlie Brown. I almost want to give Rosalind proficiency in belly dancing now, because, like, damn.
She's already got proficiency in performance.
Yeah, true. But yeah, you and Esther just take it away for the most part. And as the various siblings of Esther's take part in the little crew of you guys, you see by the end of the night that eventually Jazz goes in there, and you can see that her crutches now have these, similar to the prosthetics, the bells kind of woven in between them across like a long cloth. And seemingly her own wristbands, as well as one around her neck, that she just uses to dance along as best she can, focusing more on the timing and the hand motions as opposed to the twirling and moving of the feet.
Every once in a while, Esther will go over to her, kind of use herself as mom can kind of take place in the dancing. Something to lean on, not as difficult a crutch.
And it is eventually made easier with the fact that you can kind of help her with the part that she can't quite do herself. You see at one point Cole and Garnet, almost spastically, just gesticulating as best they can, trying to get their hips moving in some kind of similarity to a rhythm.
Oh god.
As you can see that, you're pretty sure both of them, their hands are on fire. Don't know how. Don't know what's on fire in their hands, it just looks like their hands are on fire.
Fair enough. And you see that Esther is, I think, probably the first time completely in her element. Pun not intended. It's, she is completely comfortable.
She's on fire.
Very funny.
Yeah,
That
that's pretty
laugh
accurate.
is-
That's
that
pretty
laugh
good
is-
to the feeling.
She's burning up the dance floor.
Stop it. Fuck.
Some real hot stuff.
I will kill you.
She's a fucking,
Have you seen this village?
she's a fucking spark of emotion.
Stop it, both of you.
No, fuck you. Fuck you, Fervis Flare. Yeah,
She
bitch,
makes a good point.
I saw your last name. Fuck you.
Yeah. What about it? It's Fleer, by the way.
Mhm.
Okay.
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 Fleer.
Okay. Anyways, but yeah, and chanting eventually starts. You recognize it. Some things that Esther, you've kind of caught her humming in the past. Obviously, the other night that she was singing, teaching you guys how to dance, and it's just good. It's not overwhelming. It's not. It's just happy and content and alive. It's just life, and that's the best way to sum up the atmosphere. That's all I gotta say on that.
Go for
Yeah.
it. And as the night kind of settles down, and you each dance with a number of partners, who you refuse and accept is up to you.
Sure.
Quick question:
Back, you savages.
is
No,
Esther's previous partner here?
Give me a second to go through my notes.
Because before, when she had asked Jazz, "Is he here?" That's who she meant.
Oh, I thought you were referring to Dad.
No, the dad had left like years and years ago.
That makes more sense, okay.
Yeah, I was
Maybe
gonna
an
say, 'cause-
existential crisis.
Wasn't
He was
it
exiled when Esther was a kid.
Wasn't it said that the partner was exiled too? And that's what I gathered during the whole lead up to fighting Sagittarius. Was I
Unless the
wrong?
pronoun game was mixed up there.
Yeah.
No, that part of that was that, and the partner being referred to was Jasmine's previous partner,
Mhm.
not Esther's.
Right, I assumed something.
There was also a lot of names that I was trying to keep track of, so I very well could have said it wrong.
Yeah.
between maybe saying the wrong name and not wanting to mention names for fear of saying the wrong name.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, no, he did leave soon after. Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he's also not there.
Was he exiled or did he just leave?
Good question. Esther would know that he's most likely been exiled. Um, we'll assume that it was brought up because I misunderstood part of the questions.
Why was
But
he
yeah.
exiled?
Um,
We're zipping
that's
back in time for like a few days ago.
yeah.
Times.
If it's brought up, it's partly due to his lack of presence.
Yeah, boy! Good, dumbass. Fucking shit fucker. Sorry.
Yeah.
After the
Incident.
issue with Esther's child,
Mhm.
due to his, basically that's when he chose to leave to do his journey.
Yep.
And
Like an asshole.
yeah, and upon coming back, and soon after kind of resettling in, it was almost a self-exile. The Makans didn't really welcome him back. And while there was no formal decree for it beforehand, he was kind of known to be a absent husband and father in a difficult situation. In a way.
And the
Eventually
building.
he
Yep.
chose to leave, and this was basically ratified by the elders.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Wonderful. That's what I assumed, but I just wanted to double check.
He's not with the dad. That was just my misunderstanding. But
Yeah.
he is separate from the tribe currently.
Good. 'Cause
Of note, Rosalind is not getting Esther to drink anything.
Yep.
So.
Oh, don't worry.
Yeah.
People, as well, primarily Jasmine, but a number of people try to bring her various drinks, as well as some that were, like foreign drinks.
Esther's accepting a few, mostly things that seem to be spiced in a way, but you can tell she's being very cautious with how much she drinks.
She's not walking around with a bottle.
Pretty much. Like, she's
Yeah.
taking a sip here and there, enough to kind of get that
Buzz.
feeling.
Two
But-
solo cups worth, maybe.
Yeah, but not enough to actually...
Caius is in the corner
Get her.
with his red cup. You've seen movies.
Yep.
Fuck off!
Did you know that
honestly.
Pac-Man? No.
At one point, you do see Jasmine come over. After dancing has pretty much settled out. Now it's more anyone who wishes to dance goes up, and everyone else is kind of taking their time to relax and hang out with the people they've been dancing with. At one point, someone approaches you, Esther. Dressed in a rather intricate set of clothes. He kind of sidles up, and this is a pretty much a lifelong friend you've had, who you know had just returned about a couple weeks before you had left on your own from his journey. And he kind of looks at you and says, "Welcome back."
Do I know his name?
Would if I can find it in my notes. 1 second. I'm so sorry that I have so many names written down. Oh, what was it? He would be a... He'd be a tiefling. And... Oh god. I need to find his name, I'm sorry. I swear I had it written down. I even found it earlier because I knew I was going to bring him up. Was it started with a G? Please hold while I search through my terrible, terrible number of notes.
It's a Sony Fox boyfriend.
Yeah.
It's what?
Caius Ambrose has a Scott Pilgrim versus the World type story arc, but he fights his own evil ex-boyfriends instead.
No, it's not an ex-boyfriend. It's a friend, but I don't know his name.
There we go. Got it. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna type it in because I'm terrible at saying it. It's Gabriel. It's like an E-A-L-E. That's how you pronounce the second half.
Gabriel.
Gabriel.
Yarrel.
Fuck you, American.
Yeah.
Fucking Southern ass looking motherfucker.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. How do you pronounce? How do you type Shay in the chat?
Like a sneeze.
Gabriel. I haven't seen you in long.
Well, that's not my fault, and he kind of offers you a cup of light cider.
And she'll take it. So, off on your adventures? I heard you just got back.
Well, I got back originally when you first came back. Or when you first left, I mean. But, I've been out and journeying since then a bit. He kind of waves his hands and you see, the cup of cider in his hand start to float into the air and then settle back into his palm.
Learning magic too, I see.
It's a useful skill.
Does she know what class he was
We'll just intelligence or memory.
in?
That's okay, it wasn't super high.
I was gonna say, lifelong friend.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have known.
You would know that he had some strange methods getting to his class. He was of the healer class. But he spent a lot of his time training with the seers, actually. And when you left, he basically spent some time with the clerical churches. And came back as a kind of cleric. Some kind of knowledge or magic, or like arcanist-based cleric.
So, found your place?
Of a sort. When I heard all the issues out here, I came back as soon as I could. And you?
Is it? I think I. Fine.
You found a way to make your weird brain powers work for you too?
Not exactly. They were taken away, replaced with something else.
But a useful something else?
Something much more easier to control.
That makes a bit of sense. Well, he kind of raises the cup. Cheers to both of us finding the right place in the end.
And cheers to that.
Kind of smiles and takes a sip, and you feel a dark presence at your back as Jasmine looks over your shoulder and looks at him and says, "She's taken, buddy."
Oh no.
And you just see him wither under her stare.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Mama!
She just completely ignores you, and he just goes, "Hello, Jazz. I was just welcoming her back." As you can see, like the purple rising in his cheeks as he blushes a little bit. And she just does the eyes pointing, or 2 fingers towards her eyes, 2 fingers towards his eyes, and slinks off.
I'm sorry. She's been protected.
Oh, I know. She's terrifying as ever. She was the one the whole time you were gone, encouraging me to flirt when you came back.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh.
He kind of just smiles and shoves you. It's like, come on, you know that people like to try and pair us. Especially after,
Oh, I know. I just can't believe she'd been encouraging you.
Well, she always talked about, oh, maybe she was trying to get me with Krana now that I think about it. She always talked about, oh, it'd be so nice to have me as part of the family, and she would always welcome me in for... You know how she is.
Oh, I know how she is. Regardless, you know Kryana. She's never...
See, that's why I
I've-
thought she was talking about you, but I couldn't be sure.
Besides, you never even spoke. But
Never even spoke.
oh, I said you never overly. I suppose you did. You were always our fourth one in our trio of terror.
I take no claim to that name, and you know that.
Oh, I know.
I
But
was
you're
an accomplice at best.
yes, exactly. But you are still being pinned under it because, unfortunately, quadruple terror does not sound as nice.
And neither should it. You two always committed the crimes. I just made sure you didn't get caught.
And we always blamed Molotov.
He was so slow. How could I not?
It was the best option.
And also, if I didn't blame him, I feel like you guys would have blamed me instead.
You're not wrong.
Smiles and just, don't worry. I won't try to flirt with you. Just enjoy a drink with me.
Of course.
And you guys spend the next little while kind of relaxing, enjoying the punch like it's prom.
You know,
Caius is dissociating slightly.
I used to have feelings when I was younger.
Ah, but then you wisened up.
Not exactly. I just left. I
We
don't.
both needed our time to figure stuff out, didn't we?
Yes, very much so. I just. It's funny to me. I don't know what I ever saw in him when it could have obviously been much better.
Who knows? I think if I hadn't left when I did, I would have gone crazy. Then you would have been stuck here all alone.
Understandable why you did. Had our reason. But what kind of trouble have you gotten up?
Other than the trouble your mother just gave me, not much. Just been keeping busy lately.
Why did you come back?
People were hurt. I'm a healer. That's what I do. And then you returned. I figured I could stick around for a little while.
I'll be here for at least a few more days. It'll be nice
I
to
guess
catch
so will
up.
I. And you really have a flying castle?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to notice that now that I'm thinking about it. I really did fight a dragon. Several dragons.
I can see that you adopted their visage.
I did, yes.
Oh.
No. Breathe fire. Made of fire. Same thing.
Okay, you can breathe it on command. I can only do it when someone hurts me.
I can only breathe it once a day.
It's more than I can do it. Plus, you got the cool hair. All I got are these stupid tail. He kind of flicks his tail. It's like forked at the end.
There was nothing ever wrong with your tail. You had the best balance of every sand surfer because of it.
Yes, but whenever I walked, I'd step on it all the time when it got too hot because it would droop.
You learned to control it when you were older.
Eventually.
It was always rather cute watching you stumble over your tail.
Hey, I didn't make fun of you whenever you'd go to sleep and your hair would go out. You'd wake up all confused to where the smoke came from.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm saying it was rather adorable.
Oh, sure. And he kind of... He gives you like the half-hearted grin and just kind of pushes his shoulder against yours and just... So. Only a few more days until you leave?
But I will be returning in a few weeks. The council meeting. And I have to speak.
Well, hopefully I'll see you there. Apparently, I'm part of the one of the ones who're supposed to go up and speak.
Oh, certainly see you. And even if I only am here days, I'll be gone as I was.
Sorry, you cut out really bad there. Say that again.
Even if I am only here a few short days, I won't be gone as long as I was.
I know. But, it's just one of those things where get a little bit of time with someone and then it feels weird when they're not there anymore.
I know. Believe me, I know.
But on the other hand, I can't blame you. You've come back a much happier person.
I'd like to think so. So, tomorrow, what do you say to a race?
Oh,
Sand surfing.
interesting. On one condition.
That being?
That crazy friend of yours who was dancing, she joins us too. I saw what she was like when you first came in.
Definitely.
Is it all just pure speed, no control with her?
She has no idea what she's doing.
Oh, wonderful.
She's gonna eat sand. Oh boy, she's gonna eat sand.
And you see that big one? Well, not big one, but the bulky one in the armor?
Ah, yeah. Has he smiled yet?
There's always like a little spasm at the corner of his mouth sometimes. I think it counts.
Okay.
He's usually like that. But, I want to see him as well.
I'm leaving that up to you to convince him.
Oh, I think I already have. Partially. Do you know how funny that would be? Watching
Okay.
that giant mirror man rolling down the sand?
Would be entertaining. I have to ask, whenever I go near him, I feel all, like, the hair on my head bristle. Is that
Oh,
normal?
it's because you're a tiefling, dear.
Yeah, and?
He's an Asimar.
Oh. Funny, I've only ever met one other one, and they seem pretty calm.
It's because
He's,
Ashta. It's because he's
yeah.
Ashta.
It's more so just because he's him.
I haven't spoken to him, though. It's this
You get...
guttural feeling I have.
Oh, it's just the aura he gives off. The don't talk to me, even though I'm only 5 foot.
That's mildly horrifying. Do you
See,
mind?
Hmm?
Do you mind if I go speak with him if you're there, see if that changes it at all? I want
Of
to see if he has the
course.
same reaction as I do.
Of course. And she'll stand up and she'll hold out her hand.
And he'll take it, come along with you. You notice it as he walks. His clothes kind of, not jangle, but there's a weight in a number of inner pockets to, like, the vest he's wearing. It looks almost like he has, like, 4 or 5 books on the inside of his shirt.
What's with all of those? And she'll just kind of point to the little outlines.
Just a study material of mine.
And
I have to ask, are you arcanely inclined now?
I am, yes.
If you have time, can I look through your spellbook just to see what you have?
Of course. As long as I get to look in those books.
I'll let you pick one.
Oh, but that's not fair.
According to you, which school of magic do you like?
School.
Form of magic. There's the conjurers, the evokers.
What's that
The-
one? The evokers. What does that do?
Whereas a conjurer would summon a flame elemental to fight, an evoker would evoke the idea of heat and the burning of flames to scorch their enemies.
That one. That would be it. I
Okay.
never really found a school. I was just kind of handed.
That makes sense. You do seem very like an evoker type. And he pulls out one of the smaller books. He says, "This book has every evocation spell I've ever seen cast, copied down."
Esther's eyes are very wide, and she is leaning towards it in an attempt to grab
And
it.
he lifts it above his head and goes, I can see yours too.
Shall you mind if you show me yours?
Don't tempt me with that. Your mother will kill me. And he puts the book away and starts finishing walking towards Ashta.
I guess they'll approach Ashta.
And
As she gets this sense of dread purely because of Esther so far.
Yep.
You just get glances over.
and roll me a quick insight check.
Be nice to my son.
Be a disadvantage. There we go. 13.
There is something about him that rubs you the wrong way. You're not sure what. It's not this instinctual of, oh, he's a shitty guy. But you can feel that the magic is almost ready at your fingertips as soon as he's around. Not the natural magic, the healing magic you have. It's
Gross.
odd.
Asher pauses for a sec, and he, like, rings up his fane. And he goes, "Hey, whatever part of my head's getting that feeling, can you tell it to stop?"
And they kind of buzz around for a moment and go, hold on. And they kind of, you feel them almost like digging deeper into your mind for a moment, and there's strange flat images in front of your brain, in front of your eyes, I mean. And they go, that's not you, that's us, hold on. Give us a moment to...
X-Ping.
Yep, you X-Ping, and no, nothing, not that. Something else. And as he walks up and he kind of puts out his hand, he goes, "Hey there, I'm Griel." You can see the smile looks a little bit crooked on his face, like he's a little bit uncomfortable.
He kind of, like, glances towards Esther for a sec, and then just, like, hand out shake.
And as you shake his hands, you hear the fan go, "Ah, got it." He has a crystal of knowledge somewhere. It's... You know with the Ix, how they created a crystal form?
Mm-hmm.
He has a crystal of Fane somewhere on him.
Huh?
You're not hearing this. He thinks, and it's like, okay, but he doesn't have any?
No. It's strange. We can't tell where it is either. It's just connected to him.
It's a nipple piercing.
And you're sure that's
Sorry.
Fane and not Ix?
If it was Ix, it would have come up on your sensory earlier.
Even if it was a something inside?
Yes, it's... We don't exist in a physical sense usually. This is a physical manifestation. If it was Ix, it'd be noticed immediately.
And he thinks to himself, okay, where's the warning on that page I read? But moving on.
It's not X, brother.
No, the one he read that gave him X. And he's like, okay, and he kind of like gives a glance towards him and he goes, sorry, how do you know Esther?
Old friends. We grew up together. Sorry, do you... He kind of like points one finger, like still holding your hand, and like points one finger at him and one back at you and just... Is there something here? Sorry, I don't mean that in a flirty way.
Good. No. Do you have any magic implements you've recently acquired? Or have?
In general, I mean...
Any objects? Crystals?
I have quite a few. Crystals, yes, are my focus. And he pulls out a... from some space, like he reaches his hand out, and his hand disappears up until the up to the elbow. And as he pulls it back out, he's holding this crystal in his hand. In the
He
same
looks to
pattern
his
as
fane.
the
He
one in
goes,
front.
"Is that a bingo?"
They go, bingo. He goes, it's what I used to cast magic. Just found it.
Out of curiosity, where did you find it?
He reaches his hand out, it disappears again, and pulls out something else. It's called the duat.
The what?
What's the word you folks use? Um,
Was
like
it
a
in
po-
primordial?
no, actually.
Alright.
Roll a history check to see what language it is.
One.
Yeah, no clue.
idea.
It's
Could Esther?
At least it's not Celestial Sylvan or.
Yeah. Esther, go ahead and roll it. It's an easier DC for you.
History?
Yeah.
Yeet.
Okay. It's an ancient form of Ignan.
Hmm.
It's the rough equivalent to Egyptian.
That's where I thought this was going.
It's a very, very old version of it. Before the Genasi Desert was the Genasi Desert. It comes from actually originally in the Plane of Fire, this dialect.
Hmm.
Even previous to Primordial.
Does it translate to anything that Esther knows?
As he kind of like gestures in his hand, it's like kind of like a pocket dimension. But if there was a shared one that everyone had access to if they knew the right magic.
How do you have this magic?
Practice. Same way you can summon flames.
And he just kind of slowly on. It's like, well, I think whatever it is causing this wedge.
Well, I hope it's nothing you hold against me there.
No, I'm just curious more than anything. I've odd experience with similar things.
Oh, you can see it if you'd like, and he just puts the crystal in front of you.
He gives a quick check with his fane. It's like, if I grab this and nothing's gonna happen, right?
If he doesn't have Ix, it shouldn't affect you.
He takes it.
And you take it, and it doesn't really react much to your fane. You can feel the energy humming within it, but it's something more ancient than that. This isn't a magic item. This is an artifact of some kind. And it's loaded with some kind of celestial power to it.
So this, how did you get in? You just reach your hand in?
I was kind of like how I explained to you that I study magic as like a scholar almost. I can't cast most of these spells, but I can understand them. It's every wizard. Okay, he kind of like steeples his hands beneath his nose. Magic has an intrinsic language, and every wizard who learns their own spells and makes a spellbook of their own translates to a dialect of their own. I know how to understand the basic form of it, and part of that is accessing the duat.
Is it the equivalent of being a sword historian but not a soldier?
More like being able to reach into some rocks and pull out the iron ore, and know that it's iron ore, and move it. Use that as a weapon, rather than creating a sword out of steel.
You
And-
work with ramen.
Exactly. And part of that is the duat. I have my own little personal place in it, but I can access many.
Asha thinks for a sec to his fane, just like, can you give a check on all that celestial back stuff I've got? See if any mention of this thing or the duat.
Sure, it would be easier when you sleep, but we can do it now if you'd like.
Just cursory light thing going in the background, just a glance around. Nothing
Sure,
too much.
yeah.
Do more
Mark
in
off.
sleep.
Yeah, mark off the necessary points for, like looking into the memories.
Alright. I think that's just
I think it's just 1
What?
point. I
Yeah.
think so. As I look into it, going back to the idea of the world has restarted multiple times.
Mm.
When magic was created, the duat was where it was first created. It was the first version of the weave. And if the weave is the threads that go throughout everything, the duat is the spaces in between. It's a weird esoteric concept that isn't particularly useful most of the time, because it's kind of the negative version of the concept of energy. It's almost like antimatter. But it's still inherently magical.
No negative energy plane, I promise.
There isn't negative energy plane.
I'm just joking.
It's
But,
reverse magic.
But so he gives me a thought. And it's like, so does that mean is that place not affected by a universe reset?
Not so far. It was kind of covered over when the weave was created, but it still exists.
And it hasn't changed. It hasn't been destroyed or removed or anything or modified in any way. Outside of just people interacting with it.
Seemingly not.
He looks at this and he goes, "I think this thing is as old as magic itself."
Yeah, some of the historians I spoke to said something similar.
Huh. It's got something going with kind of like grimaces for a second. My heritage.
I imagined as much. I find it odd that it came into my hands, though.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not looking to have any blood feuds or anything here, so no worries there.
Oh, me either. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't some kind of weird magical aura that one of us had.
And he guy shrugs. There's a quick feint over to, Esyther, just like, mark this down. This is old and celestial and powerful and kind of in line with that kid.
I gathered as much. She'll just faint back. And she'll look at Ariel and just, can you teach me how to...
I can try.
And she's quick to learn.
Oh, I know. I can try. I can definitely try.
Even more so since you've met her.
Oh, I imagine so. She's been through quite a bit, I imagine.
Yeah. Alright,
Did you know every time you die, you come back just a little bit stronger?
I heard about that once. Theoretically, yes, although it seems that depends on the kind of soul that you have. If you have a certain race of souls that's almost exploitable in a way.
I can tell you for a fact it's true.
It's true for you. It's not true for everyone.
which souls are in that category?
Hold on, why? Find the name of that.
I'm just wondering if you're about to tell me he's fucking Ash didn't get a goddamn Dragon Ball Z boost.
I was going to use the name for the Dragon Ball boost.
Yep, Zenkai boost.
That's what it was, Zenkai. It's basically the idea that if you have a soul that's more anchored to being alive than to the astral plane, coming close to death is like, oh, it's just a new challenge. And then as you return back to your above, basically the comfortable land, you can withstand more pressure and you can do better. It's just kind of a natural feature that some souls have. Elven souls are known to be very powerful in this. Celestial, any kind of long-standing heritage that isn't the kind of human, gnome, or a cockra, like anything like that would be not like that.
Mm-mm. Human?
A human would generally not be like that.
Oh, right. Fucking Christ, okay. Oh. Okay, good to know, good to know.
Yep. No, I will not allow you to exploit that.
Mm.
We're not Dragon Balling it up, I'm sorry.
It's like that movie where they keep they die and they wait like very last minute to revive them, and they come back with like smarter and stronger and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Flatliners. That's the fucking movie.
Wow.
Yeah, very similar concept.
Mm.
But as he kind of speaks, he goes, but other than that, that's all I kind of wanted to check in with, and kind of looks around for a second and says, "You guys hear something?"
Ash immediately is like, "Oh no," and perks up and kind of hands slowly the crossbow.
What do you mean hear something?
Ash, roll a perception check.
Yep. As he just kind of like glances over, it's like, "What do you hear?" And he's gonna, sorry, can you do feint with perception?
Yeah.
All
Wisdom
right.
check. So
Conrad, really?
Oh man.
Every time.
what? Do you think I can let you just have a very peaceful time for more than a session or two?
25.
No. It was last session, Conrad.
Yeah.
Double
What a calm
15,
session so far.
25.
Fuck's sake.
So as you kind of cock your ear to listen, it's a strange sound. It's the sound of feet on sand, for sure.
Oh, fuck.
Off in the distance, but also like a trailing, almost slicing sound. As you kind of turn your head towards it,
North, south,
And-
east, west.
Sorry?
North, south, east, west.
Southeast.
If you want,
And-
you can put on the old map, Conrad.
It's okay. It's not super relevant right now, at least not yet. And as you kind of look over that way, you feel Gareel kind of touch your shoulder, and you feel your vision as you can now see perfectly in the dark for a moment.
Okay.
And you see far in the distance.
Flick on the glasses.
Yep, even better. Very clearly some kind of undead. Stripped to the waist, with these 3 long trailing claws as it just slowly walks towards the camp. Hundreds of arrows pierced in through its chest, through its head, and just slowly walking towards us. Each hand has the 3 trailing claws, making a 7-line trail behind it.
Does he recognize this thing at all?
Roll me a religion check.
Disadvantage or anything? Or
Nope, just high DC.
Alright. Screw it, we're using Feign. He's just like, I know I'm overworking you a lot right now, but a lot's happening.
They're ready to help.
Religion. 7. Fuck me.
You've got no clue.
It's spooky.
It's real
Esther-
fucking spooky.
Definitely undead, though, at least.
Definitely undead. You can see the ribs and like basically the skin pulled tight against the skull.
Alright.
Esther's like pulling on Ash's arm. What do you see? Show
Undead,
me.
southeast.
No, show me.
Feign over.
And you get the
But he says it
image.
kind of out loud.
Hey, yeah, does Caius hear this?
Yeah, as soon as the kind of warning goes off with Ashta, you'd all hear it.
Yeah, and then a quick feign over, undead, southeast, image.
Hey,
Would
does-
Esther recognize it?
I'm gonna drop an image in the chat, but go ahead and roll me a religion check. And yes, you guys probably know what this is, anyone who's looked through the books, but don't worry about that.
Can I add my feign for advantage?
Sure.
Ooh.
And how many is that? Just the
Just cost 1 point, yeah.
Ah, I was wondering if it was that one. I actually don't know what it does, but I know the art very much.
It's fucking metal.
I don't remember what that is.
Explicitly why I know that art.
Yeah.
But go ahead and make your religion check with advantage, Esther.
As he slowly crawls towards the camp.
Oh, first one. Fuck, sorry.
Perfect. Alright. So you don't know this from any desert traditions. This isn't a desert creature. Desert creature. You do know this from some inkling of feigned knowledge in your mind. That this is a bone claw.
Bone Claw is ready.
Damn it.
He's right
They're
there with it.
powerful undead. With strange properties that you can't quite recall,
Even with a natural 20?
even with a natural 20.
Fucker.
Yeah.
DC 25, sorry.
I have undead bolts, right?
You tell me.
I'm double checking.
DC 25, I literally couldn't fucking reach it. Shit.
Yeah.
Caius is like,
It's
I
a
think
difficult
Fervus
roll.
has something for that.
Say again?
I think Caius is like, doesn't Fervus have something for this?
He's far away.
He's very far away.
Fergus is fucking far. Anyways, so
It's the only problem.
As it starts approaching the camp, you see for a moment it takes a step, and then just sinks into the sand and disappears.
Oh shit.
Shit. She's gonna look at Gariel. You're a cleric, right?
And he goes, yes?
We're gonna need you.
Alright, good to know. And he kind of, like, looks around for where it went.
And
And-
Esther's gonna start ringing the alarm, pretty much yelling, get inside, get in the tents, get away, like, higher ground, like that.
And as you do, people start, like, separating. And as soon as, Gariel steps out of the firelight, immediately, from beneath, you see the creature come up once more, and 3 claws just pierce him through the back. And the creature sinks into the sand once more.
Asher throws this on himself real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Esther's gonna run forward and catch him.
Yep. And as he looks down, he goes, "Oh, that's not good." And he presses his hand there, and you see healing magic begin to come out.
Oh my god.
He kind of just looks up and goes, "Oh, I guess it doesn't like me."
Are you
And
okay?
as the creature, I think so. And as the creature rises from the sand once more directly behind you, Esther, he kind of points to him and goes, "It's back." That's where we're
And-
going to end the session.
I was gonna say,
Alright.
before we end the session though, can Esther, just so that I don't forget, immediately just...
Sure. I'll say
As
you
you
could have,
said.
yeah.
just
too.
before we end.
Wings out too.
Everybody's doing their one thing, I guess.
Either give me protection for good and evil, or give me radiant soul, Devin. One or the other.
Alright, Radiant Soul.
And with that,
Easier to remember.
end that there.
Shit, alright.
How long is it going to be until? Oh dear. Oh dear.
It's going to be a while.
Yeah.
Actually, Saturday. I should be okay for this Saturday.
Oh good.
Yeah, I'm okay for Saturday, I'm off.
I hope so.
Guys, I'm pretty sure I'm okay.
I'm
with
fine.
this.
Because it's the 21st. So yeah, I should be okay.
All right.
Well, that is an
Should be.
ugly mofo.
Yep.
Because I know I can't. I'm not available for Friday, so.
Yeah, Saturday. All right. Well, till then, I guess.
Yep, till then.
Yeah.
Dude, that thing is fucking ugly.
Yeah, I've been waiting to use that thing.
Ugh.